lot less switches. It's like
hello, hello.
Okay, everyone's unmuted now. Hello, hello, everyone. This is Puzzle Plate here with Katt and Dani.
Hello.
Hello there.
So, you guys want to introduce
Fuzzy woman.
yourselves, by the way?
Sure.
Absolutely,
I'm
of
Katt
course.
Phloxworthy. I am a nerdy trans cat girl VTuber over on Twitch. And I do like to stream a lot of not just the usual video games. I'm planning to stream lots of technology, older stuff, as well as the performance art stuff. And also, of course, I like aerospace. And I've been streaming since Crew 1 back on November 15th of last year.
Okay. Go ahead, Dani.
Oh yeah. I am Dani Perigee. I am just an anime character floating in space somewhere. And I stream 3D model making, space games, indie games, variety stuff in general. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. And, of course, I am
Stand by.
Puzzle... Oh. Okay.
Wait, did you cut out? Ready?
Shot inside the White
No, I didn't
Room.
cut it.
Astronaut Shane Kimbrough.
still
I'm sorry,
here.
my
Left of
phone
your
just rang when I was just
and to the
answering
right,
it.
you can see the side
Alrighty.
hatch of the Crew Dragon
Anyways,
Endeavor is open.
I'm Puzzle
in
Plate. I am a
preparation
Moon
for the
Rabbit
next
VTuber.
milestone, which will be crew ingress
course,
in just a few minutes.
I enjoy space, and
if you're just joining us, you're watching
I'm
live
also a
coverage of
variety
NASA's
streamer.
SpaceX mission known
I'll stream
as Crew
some
2.
different
Good
stuff,
morning and
like
welcome to Kennedy Space Center in
first-person
Florida.
shooters,
I'm Marie
and
Lewis
if it's like a
with
space
NASA
game,
Communications.
you can guarantee I'll
And
probably
I'm
be
Kate
playing
Tice,
it.
Senior Certification Engineer at SpaceX. Joining us today is NASA astronaut Tracy.
And if you'll excuse me, folks, I actually have to step away briefly. And I'm going to, for those people watching on YouTube who happen to want to switch over to my channel, I'm going to leave my opening music open for a little bit longer. Guys, continue. I will be back in a little bit.
We can see that Megan and
Hello,
Shane
Hitomi.
are in the White Room here.
Oh,
underground.
hello, Hito.
Anyways, we are getting into ingress right now. We are T-minus 2 hours and 47 minutes. So as you can see up in the upper left-hand corner of my stream, I have a timer going down. You know, there's also the one just below it that's coming from the live feed from NASA TV here. So let's bring it to over to the crew.
Previous human spaceflight
And
programs,
you guys
but
can hear that, right?
something different this time. We're actually having all the astronauts that fly
Well,
on
no,
Crew
I'm
Dragon
talking
sign
about
their
I'm
names.
talking to chat.
And there's a shot
Seeing if they can hear the
inside the crew
stream.
tower.
Okay,
it
cool.
looks like
Good.
where Aki and Toma are now using the
Yes.
telephone
The
for a
astronauts are
final
being fed
goodbye. Now,
into
Tracy,
the
do you want to talk a little
dragon.
bit about the significance of that
Jeez.
particular
By
telephone?
ninjas.
I think it's a great way to surprise your family and friends on launch day. I know that my parents were not expecting.
Yes, the SpaceX pad ninjas, as they are called.
And in a moment, we will see Commander Shane Kimbrough. Here he is climbing inside Crew Dragon Endeavor. We call this process ingress.
Except they
And
have
pilot Megan
4
MacArthur
hands,
following.
2 pairs of hands. This
So we
is a
can see the
pressure suit,
closeout
right?
team assisting the
Interesting.
crew.
Crew
as
ingress has
Hands
started
sticking
on
out
schedule.
From the bottom.
Is what?
announcement there that we are on schedule with
They have
our
their hands
activity
sticking
here
out
of
the
crew
suit
ingress.
from the wrist
Like I was saying,
area.
Yeah.
you can see the closeout
So,
team assisting the crew
actually,
as they enter the capsule
recently,
to assure that they
Soichi
don't ding
Noguchi,
their helmet
did a
or
really
any
good,
part of their suit
a
on the
stream
hatch as
of
they're entering. There's also some
not a stream,
protective
a YouTube
coverings
video of
around the
him
hatch
actually
itself,
putting
but
on
just to make
the
sure that there's a clear path
putting
to
on
entry.
the thing
we
itself,
see-
and yeah,
we now
so the
see some
gloves kind of like
technicians,
split out
assisting the crew
like
getting
that,
settled and
in order to
will
make it
help the crew
easier to
members
put
get
on and
buckled in.
whatnot. So,
The
and for those who don't know, the gloves
harness that we
themselves
see coming into
are
the picture
actually
here is, not just
purposely
your
designed
normal
to be
seat belts,
touchscreen
although it does
compatible.
function in
Obviously,
that
for this
purpose.
case,
It's
for
a
the purpose that
five-point harness,
one,
and
you kind of need to,
the
because you
crew
have
will
usually
start to buckle themselves in, and
that-
kind of like
that's
when you
Soyuz.
get on a
But
roller
yeah,
coaster, like
everything's
you get your initial
touchscreen,
fit up, and
so,
then your
you know, you
safety
need to
team
have
member
your
comes
gloves
over
being
and makes
able
sure
to
that
poke,
you're locked and loaded
the
and ready to
buttons,
go.
and you
This
know,
is a great
rather
shot because
than
we can actually
using
see
a
the
literal like
touch
selfie
screen,
stick
the
to poke the
LCD display
buttons
screens
like they have to on
above the crew.
Soyuz.
They
The
might
stream
look in an
audio is
awkward position
quite
right now.
loud
That's just
compared
because
to
the
the group
seats are
audio.
actually in a
Okay, yeah,
rotate-
hold on.
rotated downward
My
for crew
my
ingress,
Elgato is a
after everyone
bit
is in
on the
buckled
loud
and
side.
the
All right,
communication
thank you.
checks have been performed.
Sorry, guys.
Rotate back
All right, it's all good, Kat.
There we go. That's better.
display screens.
I turned off my camera when I stepped away, and then, of course, I had to recalibrate.
All right, it's all good.
Anyway, on my side, I'm about to go. I'm going to go live in about 2 or 3 minutes, and when I tell you, I'm going to have you guys be quiet for a moment. We'll introduce and I'll go ahead and introduce.
All right, sounds good. We're
Okey-dokey.
just watching the stuff.
Commander Shane Kimbrough.
Yep, I'm
in
seeing
the
it from here
foreground.
too. I've got it on
This is
I've got it on a
shot,
third
from
monitor, so I'm
inside
monitoring
Crew
that as we go
Dragon
too. In any event, just wanted to say hi to Danny's Danny's, who happens to be here, as well as, of course, Puzzle Plates audience. I'm glad to be doing this with you guys. This is my first ever spaceflight collaboration with you guys. I think it's really for all of us when you get right down to it.
Actually, this is my first ever stream doing a launch stream in and of itself, to be honest, because usually
Wow, cool.
because most of the time I'm always busy when these launches happen. Although the summer I will have a lot of time, so hopefully we'll be able to catch more, especially like Starlink,
Yes.
because Starlink's like.
Oh,
feels like
yeah.
there's one
Those are
going
always
off
fun to watch.
Yeah, every month they've got one, I swear.
Sometimes every other week.
Oh yeah,
Frequency
that
now
too.
is absurd. I think even the Starship prototypes have like their launch, down to like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks for launch.
Yep.
Yeah, and on top of that, I completely missed SN11, so I directed everybody to Danny's channel.
Yeah. It's crazy.
in the seats right now. They'll do a more formal poll as we get later into the ingress procedures.
And we got some really cool views of the second two astronauts.
So in any event, yeah, this is going to be a
the
the last few months have definitely been interesting, especially considering that things have been going up in a feverish pitch, especially when you consider also that Neutron was just announced.
Yes,
Yeah.
Neutron. That's a very interesting one. Let me tell you, like,
Yeah.
you know, filling that filling that niche of the market and whatnot. You know, something between the Falcon 9 and you know
Slower.
the smaller
Electron?
ones. Yeah, Electron.
Commander Shane Kimbrough are
And it seems to be
It's always
like
fun watching Electron just. It's always fun to watch the second stage of Electron just sort of peel out and
Yeah.
ditch the first stage.
and the fact that it's battery power, or that the engines are battery powered.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
It's
feels super
going to burning a
cool.
little bit of talent to spin a turbo pump. And in the meantime,
Mhm.
we're almost ready to go live on my side. So stand by.
Okey-dokey.
Alrighty, stand by.
You can see Shane Kimbrough now positioned in
And I'm going to
seat
introduce you guys on my side.
Megan
All right,
McArthur,
sounds good.
Beside him now in seat 3, which for Crew Dragon is the pilot seat. Aki Hoshide will take the seat number 1, which is on the far right of your screen, and it's the left seat. Thomas Pesquet will be in seat 4, the left of your screen. That's called the right seat. Now, it's worth noting that Megan is sitting in the same seat in the same capsule that her husband Bob Behnken sat in during the Demo 2 test flight to the space station.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is going to be my first ever. Whoa, that is just weird. Give it just a sec here. There we go. That's better. I'd like to introduce to you a couple of fellow spaceflight fans. Below and on screen left, you have Puzzle Plate.
Hello.
And he is presently streaming on YouTube. So go ahead and give him a visit, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell, and we'll take. And then he does a lot of gaming as well as, and on top of that, he's another fellow excuse me, spaceflight enthusiast. And then to the right is Dani Perigee. He is also on YouTube, but he's not streaming presently due to bandwidth constraint issues. So, but in any event, he recently streamed SN11. Excuse me. Let me get a quick drink of water here. So I had basically everybody go over to his channel when he was streaming SN11's launch. So, yep, and don't forget to check out his channel. Drop him a subscription and and jingle the bell, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I was also hearing you guys talk as I was. Puzzle Plate's already live, and you might want to talk about one is. I saw this picture on Twitter. I'm not sure if you saw the same one, but basically, you see the interior of the descent module in the Soyuz craft, and it's clearly marked saying coach, and then you look inside of Dragon, it's like first class.
Nice, yes. It's just like they're so crammed in there. Dear gosh. In
the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take us over here. They're already starting to do the ingress there.
Oh man.
And they're the pad ninjas. They're the pad ninjas, as I've heard them called. And you were talking about the you know how the control panels for Soyuz, they require these little pointer sticks in there.
In the past.
And I covered Soyuz MS-18 last week, a couple of weeks ago actually. And you don't ever see a crewed Soyuz flight without those prerequisite sticks that that the commander uses in order to operate the panel.
And thank you for coming, by the way, Shadow. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, basically what's going on right now is, what I did is I did the Soyuz craft, the Soyuz launch earlier this month, and it was rather interesting hearing about how they actually like all those engines on the first stage, which basically is little more than shoving a matchstick up the combustion chamber. Whereas on this one, it's all chemical using TTEB, triethyl aluminum triethylborane, or as I like to say, TTEB, hot green flame.
Yep, and
apparently it is quite hot.
Yeah. As Katt said, you might notice at the bottom of the Falcon 9, just ever so slightly that green flame for a moment, and then just full on orange as it launches into the sky.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's in place. Looks like they're in place. What they're probably doing right now is also hooking them to the life support system.
Yep.
And one of the things they'll also do is, as they're getting ready to close the hatch, they'll do a leak check to make sure that the hatch seal is nice and tight. They actually had a bit of a leak the last time. This was before I started streaming that day.
Oh.
The other thing to make note of with this launch is that they have a very small window before launch. So they have like 10 minutes or so, and if the weather is 90%, is a 90% go for launch. But if in the case of believe it was the first launch or was it? I think it was the first demo 2, the first attempt. They had to cancel because of weather restrictions. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
The other interesting point to make is that because Falcon 9 uses a cryogenic propellant, the crew, or when it's time to launch, they fuel the rocket while the astronauts are in the Dragon capsule itself. So right now, currently, this thing is empty, and they just start
Right.
filling it the moment that hatch closes and that arm retracts.
Mhm.
So, and then once
Well-
it's all fueled, they send that rocket straight up.
We can even
Okay,
see
just
the
purple
condensation.
blob. See ya. This is going to be a long stream, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
I was just
We've
telling
got
somebody in
two-
my audience.
Yep, we got about 2 hours and then maybe like an hour after. I don't know how long after launch, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I have,
think
let's just say I have 2 cans of energy drink next to me. I'm going to be a very
Oh, dear.
wired rabbit. Yeah, though.
Yeah.
Watching SpaceX, even up here from the moon where I am, it's so fascinating. Speaking of moon things, I've heard some interesting developments into that one program. What's it called again? What was the name?
It started with
Artemis?
A.
Yeah,
Yes,
that one, Artemis. Yeah.
And what was the latest you've heard?
Something about some giant white rocket monolith looking thing that they want to send. I was like, oh, geez, that thing's huge. Are you guys serious? You want to send that to the moon?
That escalated quickly.
I'll bet it did.
It's like, well, that last time they sent this small
I'm a
little
little
spider-like
behind.
thing.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on that one. I'm just like, I knew that I know that SpaceX had just gotten the and won the contract to go to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
actually
apparently
very
they're
interesting.
sending Starship.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yep.
because
what?
the
Wouldn't
other two
surprise me.
options- The other 2 options were the American national team, and another one was
Mm-hmm.
a
I think Blue Origin.
Yeah,
Blue
no, the national team was Blue Origin.
Oh,
It was Blue Origin, Grumman, and I wouldn't know all this stuff. Lockheed Martin, yes.
Yeah.
Each was making a
Oh, yeah,
different part of it, but they weren't. I don't think they had. According to my research. According to my research, oh my god, but they had they weren't at the readiness that NASA wanted, and they weren't obviously the big thing came down to money, and money talks apparently according to humans.
Oh yes.
And so
Oh yes. Boy does it ever.
that and that massive ladder, like for real, that's a fall hazard. Dynetics had like the most reasonable of the they had the most reasonable one in my opinion, but it
had-
definitely
I think
but
Scott. I think Scott Manley said it had like negative mass allowance.
yes,
so
that's what it was,
couldn't-
negative mass
yeah.
allowance.
You couldn't like fit extra cargo and redundant stuff onto it.
Mm.
Whereas on SpaceX's case, literally the entire tube is just filled with empty space that you can stuff.
Yeah,
cargo
exactly.
in.
You could stuff everything. You could stuff Toyota moon cruisers in there if you wanted. You'd stuff 3 Toyota moon
Nice.
cruises. Probably not, but who knows?
I mean, just look at Dragon. Like the space inside the capsule feels like almost excessive. Like I feel like you could put cargo.
It reminds me of like a
Yeah.
Boeing 737. I'll be quite
So
honest.
roomy.
Oh no. That's the CST 100 from the same company that brought you the 737 Max.
Are we talking about Starliner?
Yeah, I was making a rather nasty crack.
Oh gosh.
I was making a nasty crack at Boeing's expense.
I find
Sorry,
it funny
Boeing.
that because of SpaceX again, the Boeing's I'm glad we're all on the same page about Boeing. That their what is it called? That you know, about Boeing's failures and whatnot. And it's just funny to watch SpaceX just run circles around them. This company that just came out of nowhere literally was about to fail at one point.
I'd probably say run roughshod is
launch.
a better way of putting it.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. And then, you know, literally Starliner is being delayed because of Dragon, because they don't have a port open for the...
And hi, Kamatobe. Thanks for dropping by.
But yeah, they don't have a port open for the, oh, what's it called?
Oh, for
yeah, they don't
docking,
have for
for
docking, so they can't test it, and so it's thrown logistics off like crazy. And they're going to be having a new cargo Dragon come up soon.
Yep. And also another note about this particular capsule: this is actually its second flight. This originally ferried Bob Macon and Doug Hurley up to the space station during DM2.
This is the Dragon Capsule Endeavor. Such cool names.
Yep.
Using
yes, it is.
Is that in the English language? Or like Endeavor and Resilience? Those are adjectives, or are they adverbs? I don't know.
Resilience is a noun. Endeavor is also a noun. Resilient is the adjective. Now they're doing communications checks.
Okay.
We're doing grammar now, are we?
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna turn up the volume for this then.
It's an exciting day for everyone, really. The anticipation, I can't even imagine. You want to, just knowing, seeing the pilots and the commanders from previous missions.
In fact, the only thing that's brand new on this mission is the second stage.
They're really soaking in this moment, but at the same time, they are thinking
it's
about
Earth Day.
Those
it's
next
a great
steps.
day to
what
recycle.
do I have to do to prepare to make sure we're ready to launch on time today?
Exactly. They must be so excited.
Oh gosh, now I'm thinking of my previous stream from 2 hours ago, where I was literally manning in Deep Rock Galactic. I was manning what was the equivalent of like an oil rig.
SpaceX copies. Stand by for umbilical comm check.
Oh, we have callouts.
Oh.
So anyway, but yeah, this
CDR, PLT, MS1, MS2.
Oh, hey, Case.
CDR, loud and clear.
PLT, loud and clear.
MS1, loud and clear. And MS2, loud and clear.
I sometimes wonder whether...
And core, loud and clear. Umbilical comm checks complete. Stand by for ground station comm check.
Solutions. Because if the entire thing starts, shaking and moving, wouldn't it be hard to, press the correct button?
Oh, they're going to test through the Tracking Daily Relay Satellites Network, or TDRS.
Yep.
Most of this is all automated now. Like, the astronauts themselves don't actually have to do much. They just sit and enjoy the ride.
Yep.
You got your SpaceX shirt on. Awesome. I've got my entire IVA suit on right now. It's not a SpaceX IVA suit, but it does the trick.
If you're just now joining us, they are performing comm checks right now, so that is what.
All right, so for those who've just joined, we are going, or they are doing. They are currently in the middle of comm checks for their suits. So there's all 4 of the astronauts there.
Dragon SpaceX comm check.
Endeavor has you loud and clear.
And core, loud and clear. Ground station comm check complete. Stand by for TDRS comm check.
Any space ships.
Yeah, I was getting my phone set up so I can watch your stream from, so I don't have to tie up the computer with it.
Awesome. Yeah. It's showing that I'm having a little bit of lag. I think it's just so. I assume that my lag issues were not from exterior source.
And an incredible view from one of the handheld cameras of the
So,
suit technician
I
peering
assume,
in
yeah, it's
through
just,
the side hatch. The
yeah,
side hatch
whatever. It's what
is
it
open
is.
now
It is
and
what
will
it is.
remain closed throughout the duration of the mission until Dragon
Anyways,
splashes down. We're standing by for some of the further
So anyways,
communication
this
checks.
mission, we have this mission is having 2 international astronauts on board.
Core loud and clear. Teeters comm check complete. Stand by for comm checks with MD and LD
we
in the launch
got one
configuration.
from, I believe, ESA or France, and
He's
one
from France,
from
yeah.
JAXA.
Countdown 1, comm check.
Which is Japan.
Which is Japan.
MD, you have you loud and clear
Oshide
on
Aki, I
countdown 1.
believe is his name.
Yep, Oshiaki.
MD loud and clear. Stand by for comm check over Dragon to ground.
Anyways,
Okay.
Dragon MD on Dragon to ground. Comm check.
Oh, here's the
Yep,
next
they're going to
contract.
be, what they're going to do is they're going to rotate the
MD,
seats
loud
upward.
and clear, Dragon to ground.
MD loud and clear. Stand by.
And in
for
fact,
comm
there
checks
is in
with
fact some
LD.
cargo below the
Dragon
seats.
LD on countdown 1. Comm check.
LD, loud and clear, countdown 1.
LD loud and clear. Stand by for a comm check over Dragon to ground. Dragon LD on Dragon to ground. Comm check.
Oh, this is like watching one of the most
LD, loud and
expensive
clear, Dragon to ground.
LD loud and clear.
Hi, Hitomi. I'm just speaking with one of your audience.
Hey, Hito.
And Dragon SpaceX launch configuration comm checks complete. Report
There
when
they
ready for seat
go.
rotation per section 2 of 4.100.
I was wondering when they went with white suits over hazard, lime, etc. Probably it's probably the
All right, and you
material.
heard
if I
that
had to,
call.
if
The
I had to guess, I
communications
know they
checks
use
are
Nomex on
complete.
the space shuttle launch and entry suits.
I
Look at
think
that.
I think it also comes down to aesthetics. Let's be quite honest here. Like SpaceX
crew.
is all about their aesthetics. Like from what I recall, they got an actual like superhero suit designer to make the suits for SpaceX. Like this guy worked in the movie
I hadn't
business.
thought of it that way. Oh my goodness! As long as it keeps them alive during ascent and entry, then that's good. Anyway, go ahead.
They're literal superhero suits. Let's put it that way. But I think
yeah,
also,
definitely.
you know, they have so much tracking and whatnot. They don't really need the hazard like the orange or anything like that in order to do it. Because if they have a splashdown, you're gonna be or if they have to do a splashdown, it yeah, it basically. You're going to be inside the capsule. You're not going to egress out of it like you would maybe with like
Definitely.
Mercury or the space shuttle.
That's assuming you have to ditch on the shuttle, which is a very dicey proposition at best.
Yeah, I pulled the audio levels down. I kind of bring it up just in case when there's an important thing.
I see you're talking to your audience.
Yes. But also, could you pull? Yeah, okay. I think the moon bid win partly because the spaceship looks like a spaceship. I think
it does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes,
it definitely does, but it
absolutely.
has to also do with the money involved because SpaceX is like, hey, we were going to go to the moon. Hey, you guys want to go on? It's kind of like your friend. It's kind of like when your friend's like, yeah, I'm going to such and such place. You want to come along? And you're like, I don't know. And then he's like, yeah, I'm paying for all the gas. And you're like, sold. I'll do it. I'm in.
Your only other 2 alternatives are some very expensive and small bicycles.
By the way, anyone from Luna's or from Luna's channel that is here, thank you so much and welcome.
And pleased to meet you folks. I'm coming to you from Twitch.
I do apologize for the I think it says that I'm for the choppy stream if it's a little choppy. I've been having some internet latency issues, but I will continue to stream regardless. So we'll see how it goes.
Puzzle.
Yeah.
Am I turning yellow? Am I turning yellow on your screen?
No.
Oh, you're okay on my side.
Yeah, you're okay on my browser source.
Oh. Oh, okay. It's just a bug. Never mind.
Happily, I am a space or a machinist by trade. So space stuff is totally up my street. Awesome, cool. Glad to hear it.
I like how.
All right, so it isn't.
Oh, cool.
That's weird. Okay, that has to do with the stream. I do apologize. I assume that the reason he's turning green is because
I'm green with excitement.
Yeah, you're green with this. I assume it's because on my end it seems okay, but it might also just be because of it's definitely got to be because of the stream, the lag issues.
And I'm going to be bringing up the interface in just a sec here because my camera's not being nice to me all of a sudden. Okay, that's better.
Oh hey, it's the Earth globe plushie thingy that went up on demo 2.
Oh yeah.
Mm. Oh, nice.
Speaking of zero gravity indicators, what do you guys think the zero gravity indicator is going to be for this mission?
You know, that's a good question. I know that they had Baby Yoda, I think, for
Crew 1.
They might have something to do with. I wonder. One of the things I'm not sure if any of you guys heard. Oh, Frank DeWin.
Maybe something to do with Earth Day?
Yeah.
Maybe something nature related?
And NASA's Jasmine Hopkins is at a nearby viewing location with a special guest from the European Space Agency. Jasmine? Thanks, Marie.
I'm so glad that events like this are like live streamed to everywhere, so all of humanity can see the craziness that is sending a few people into space.
On my side, they're about to close the hatch. They're waving to everybody in the capsule.
Okay.
You might be seeing Frank DeWin coming up. I think he's a Dutch astronaut.
Oh, okay. Hold on, we're gonna do some quick things here. Now, if only they made cars as much as they care as their spacecraft. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just read your comment just now, Case Coyote. That is oh yeah. I've heard that the newer ones, like the model, I think it was which one was it? The 3 that had some pretty I don't know, lackluster manufacturing.
They really had to cut the costs on that one.
I've been talking, or I was talking about this earlier with the guys, and I mean, SpaceX they use off-the-shelf components for their rockets. So like within the industry, what they do is usually they have components that are made for space, designed for space, and obviously they cost a lot more money than the stuff that you can get that is commercial products. And I know an insider who's actually talked to me about this and said that SpaceX, his company has cable assemblies that SpaceX buys, but they he showed them, oh hey, we have this stuff that's like our really high end space stuff, and SpaceX is like, nah, we're good, and he's like, okay. And I think what SpaceX does is they literally just kind of like test the components themselves a little bit, and they're like, okay, yeah, it's good, and, send it on its way. But I mean, if they're reliable,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the ship itself is very reliable. So they're doing something right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you
And
so-
they've only recently lost just one. They've only lost one booster in a bunch of recent launches.
yeah, the success rate.
Looks
is
like they're getting ready to close the
99.
hatch on my side here.
Oh.
All right, hatch closing is coming up, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Look at any Tesla car's
Tesla's-
panel gaps between the fenders, etc. Every single gap is unique in dimension all over. Ooh, no, that's not how you make a
That's-
car. Oh,
That's shoddy quality, guys.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah, oof.
Oh, I see they got that out.
Thankfully, SpaceX is not a public
Also,
company.
Tesla cars, you know, they don't have a manual, so I would probably never drive it anyways. I prefer stick.
Well, that's because engine a gasoline engine's torque is different throughout the chip range.
Electric cars are like toys. They just accelerate.
Yeah, they just but I don't know.
Yeah.
I've gotten so used to driving.
Nowadays,
manual.
I
It's so
drive a
much fun.
hybrid.
Ooh.
Yeah, I drive a hybrid nowadays. So especially when there's enough power from the battery to go straight to the wheels, you punch the throttle, and they're waving for the final time before they close the hatch.
Yep, we're getting close to hatch closing here at T-minus 1 hour and 55 minutes, I believe, or T-minus 2 hours. They should be closing the hatch.
2 hours,
so
12 minutes.
They are going to, again, like Katt said, they will be doing closeouts and
delete checks.
Yes, quality control is an art form in and of itself. Very true, very true.
Yes, absolutely true. And that's one thing that Microsoft has never been able to master.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, on my side, they're talking about the COPVs or composite overwrapped pressure vessels that are in the fuel. They're in the propellant tanks. They usually fill them up with liquid helium. And what those are there for is to make sure that there's ullage, basically, so then the it doesn't make the tanks collapse in on themselves.
Yep.
And on top of that, to make sure that this stuff goes down into the turbo pumps and burns.
Mm-hmm. The other thing to make note of is the pressure wrapped vessels have actually been majorly overhauled, especially after the Amos 6 pad anomaly, in which during fuel up of the Falcon 9, one of the pressure rep valves, I believe, ruptured. And yeah, Amos 6 was no more. Oh
yeah, I love how
that was a crazy.
I love how Scott Manley described
too.
it. Basically, normally they release a little bit. Basically, there's helium in the tank, and then when the vessel burst, he described it as helium with an exclamation point.
Helium, boom. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
the one before that apparently was one of the supply missions on the original Dragon, and that happened in flight. I guess they couldn't. I'm not sure if they could necessarily diagnose it there, but since the other one happened on the ground, at least they could actually grab the stuff and do some forensics on it.
Yep. Yeah, learned what happened. But yeah, after that, I think I believe they moved to Block 5, and they had Falcon 9 back up in record time.
Yep, they did. I mean, because especially with the development cycle that's going on with Starship, it's iterative testing, and unfortunately in that case it was iterative testing in production.
Yeah, well, at that time they didn't have the bank that they have now. They have contracts up the wazoo now, especially with Starlink and whatnot.
Yes.
I actually know someone who's...
Dragon 1 almost bankrupted them.
Yeah.
There they go on my side. They're already closing up the hatch.
But now, yeah, with all the money they've made, they can just literally throw starships up and blow them up and just be like, okay, well, time to make a new one.
And Starlink is definitely there to give them even more bank.
Oh yeah, I actually know a friend of mine who's looking to benefit from Starlink because they're out in a rural area and they want to start VTubing, but they're like, my connection is crap. But you know they're eligible for that for Starlink. So
yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works.
We broadcast across the satellite internet.
I personally think that like if you could get like a seasonal subscription to Starlink. So for example, say you're out camping and you want that great, you know, Wi-Fi everywhere, anywhere you go.
Yep.
Just,
on my
just
side,
get like
according
a
to
Starlink.
they just
hatch is closed.
Yeah, they just started
hatch
doing
is
leak checking.
closed. They are doing leak checks
and they're
as
doing
we
leak
speak.
checks presently.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we are at T-minus 2 hours and 9 minutes till launch.
And then afterward, we will inflate the seal.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're. Yeah, it looks like you might be a little bit behind on the the YouTube
I
stream.
know. Oh yeah,
relation to me.
definitely. I am definitely behind.
Oh my god, on my side, I'm looking at your stream right now, Puzzle. I am literally...
Yes, oh my gosh.
Oh wow, yeah.
I could see it.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna fix this. Hold
my
on, I
goodness.
know how exactly to fix this.
I am
Okay.
melting.
Where is my emergency?
What a world! What a world!
Okay, so we
To
go
quote
in
the-
here, we do the codec and the
To
cat.
quote the Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay, I think it's back.
Okay, let's check. All right, we're
And
going
another
to.
thing to note is. Oh, looks like
Monica.
he's looking good from here.
Okay, so I think I fixed it. I switched it to a different codec. We'll see if that works. If not, we have another codec. If that doesn't work, we go to reactive images. There's a whole sat messenger industry for rescue services they'll flip to. Oh, yes. I'm talking about Starlink, I think.
I probably need Starlink.
That is another thing, you know. Oh, now you just reminded me. On Earth, one of the places that during my my missions that I'd go to was Arizona, and they have a big problem with wild. Oh yeah. They have a big thing about like wildfires and whatnot, but having like that kind of like rescue and whatnot, my SOS beast, oh yeah. But like having like rescue services and being able to, you know, have quick access, even when maybe like radio broadcast towers go down, would be a very good thing for like emergency services like that. Well, and not even that, but even like California too, right? You guys have a lot of wildfires there.
Oh yeah, we've been. Oh my gosh, a lot of that's been just a lot of dead brush around the place, and on top of that, back a couple years ago in 2018, we had the campfire that happened north of us in Yuba and Butte counties. That pretty much almost wiped out the entire city of Paradise. That was and that was sparked by PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. They are, let's just put it this way, on very thin ice right now.
I can only imagine.
Oh yes, and then the ones last year, they were mainly caused by lightning.
But at this point, now that the hatch is closed, it's like a new phase.
It's kind of funny. The shuttle stuff was in white. Now these guys are in black.
Yep.
The pad ninjas are here to save the day.
Yep. Okay. So they're doing their seal checks.
And then the voices that you hear. So it's kind of it's a transition.
They're playing rock, paper, scissors.
Wait, were they?
Hey, why not?
these seats at the pad in their Crew Dragon Resilience.
They
that's currently
literally have so
docked,
much time to kill
to the
that
International Space Station. So that
they're
crew
starting to
is,
entertain
watching
themselves.
the
They should
crew
like put
the
on
pad today and getting
Netflix
Yeah.
They're like,
or a video game.
I'm
on
so
their
bored,
stream.
right? They're like,
Netflix and chill?
bored. Yes. They just they
Oh,
start
boy.
poking the stream. Have they adjusted the? Oh yeah, they had to have adjusted the seats already, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay,
They,
yeah, I
they
thought
pretty
so.
much did that as soon as
That
just before hatch closer.
that is one of the coolest things about the Dragon is that the seats actually go up to lock in with the screens themselves. So
Yes,
you
definitely.
know, it makes things a lot easier to ingress into the capsule.
We do inflate the seal around
Right.
the side hatch.
They're playing rock, paper, scissors. Double-fisted rock, paper, scissors.
What's the prize?
They're like, yeah, I did rock. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this process.
My
takes a
cat
couple
is
of days
yelling
to
at me.
inflate the seal
Give me a
around the
second.
side hatch.
She's
Okay.
also excited about the launch.
Prior to actually
And it just can't hide it?
of the side hatch itself. Which at that point, after the successful leak check, will mostly just involve removing the remaining ground support equipment away from the area and installing the
And like they said, they have about 10 minutes worth of flexibility in case something really goes wrong. And I think the last time what happened is that they had to wipe off the seal around the hatch to make sure that it actually sealed properly, because they did have a little bit of a leak.
Mm. Yeah.
They're just making up for lost time. I don't remember seeing them do this during the suit up, and so they're getting in the rock paper scissors now.
There's just like, it's totally critical, guys. Remember, this is very critical. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're talking about SOS devices on your channel.
Yeah, this is definitely a good sign.
But basically, I guess you guys are talking about like emergency beacons.
Yeah, they're talking about emergency beacons and stuff, and wildfires.
Yeah. Shadow Regan, about where in California do you live? I myself am in the Sacramento area.
The catch close has been completed a little bit ahead of schedule, and we're awaiting the results of a side hatch leak check to make sure they can proceed.
That's one thing I've heard, is that it can be a little different. Well, certainly it does in the air, but in space, I don't know. Oh, you're hearing. You may not hear the same thing I'm hearing about. They're taking a question as to whether food tastes the same in space as it does on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Their noses are stuffed the entire time they're in 0G, right?
You know, that's a good question.
Fluids work.
Oh yeah, that's a thought I hadn't quite given thought to.
Yeah, I heard that it's quite unpleasant.
Oh, I'll bet.
It's like being upside down for the entirety of being in space.
Jeez.
Plus the sound of machinery and yeah, stuffed noses forever.
I've heard that like on like the first like Apollo 11 mission, or the first mission on the moon, the Apollo 11, like the astronauts were just like so excited, and the machine sounds and whatnot, they couldn't get any sleep at all.
Oh, I'll bet.
Of course, on like the next missions, they made sure, you know, one, that they had some sort of, I think they gave them sleeping pills, but also earplugs, as well as like I think they made like a hammock solution, because they were literally just like chilling there.
Yeah, I live in Orange County near the mountains, so there was a 1 week evac and another evac that was much shorter, but 2 evacs nonetheless. Yeah, that's, oh man, that's that happened a lot over in the mountains here, up in Northern California.
And that's kind of a reason why SpaceX is all about going to space, colonizing Mars.
Yeah, we need to be a multi-planet species.
Very true.
Do the whole Elon Musk spiel, where if Earth is too fragile, we need redundancy.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Very true.
And
very
if
true.
Anybody watching on my and for anybody watching on my stream, I'm also watching watching the commentary that I see on Puzzle Plate's channel and reacting to it as well. So you may not necessarily you won't see it on this stream, but you'll see it on his.
Positioning itself to dock with the International Space Station. But for the actions.
By the way, guys, how's it going? Is it not? How? I don't have a preview of my screen. Is it still kind of a bit choppy? I know. I do apologize again for that. So.
I think it's okay right now.
What I'm seeing, it is a little bit on the choppy side. It isn't too bad.
Actually, a couple of buttons located on the left armrest.
Okay.
Be able to see it there. Just
you know what? I'm also thinking I'm gonna be doing docking, or probably be doing the live stream of the docking as well. So, so keep an eye on my. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I thought so. So keep an eye on my Twitter and whatnot, and you know if you're not already, just hit the bell icon, and audio is 10 out of 10. That's what I like to hear. Awesome. Yeah,
that's always a good thing.
Yeah, but hit the bell icon to be notified and whatnot, and yeah. So I'm still undecided if I'm gonna do docking or not. Katt, Danny, what do you guys think? Are you guys gonna do that? Or?
Depends on what. It depends on when that's actually when it's gonna take place.
Saturday morning at 5 a.m. 5:10 a.m.
5 a.m. Which time zone? And they just completed. Okay.
I'll be out.
I might do that. I might be able to do it then. But yeah, they just completed leak checks from what I've been seeing. And they're doing health checks on the LES, the launch escape system.
Yep.
Earlier this month, and that actually had more to do with the Cargo Dragon flight that's coming up this summer. The preferred port for Cargo Dragon is the Zenith port, so that keeps the Zenith port open for the Cargo Dragon when Resilience departs to come home in just a few days. So it's a little bit of musical chairs, a little bit of just rearranging parking spots.
Yeah, apparently I'm a little bit ahead of you, so what I'll probably do is
what a great problem to have.
I'm not, maybe what we might want to do is before we get up there, as we get into closer to terminal count, we might want to get to our screens and just click on click on our YouTube screens and then click on the live letter, the live thing, so then it syncs us up.
Click on the live thing? Like, what do you mean?
Okay, if you go over on the YouTube window, when you go in there, right by the where it says it's live, you click on the word live, it'll actually bring you to the
hold on a sec.
It's next to the volume.
All right, so I'm going to close my thing out real quick, guys. Oh, that was the wrong thing to close out. There we go. I'm going to put this off for a sec. You guys can look at the lovely star space background for a moment while I bring this back up.
Space Station 13 Among Us.
You didn't see that.
Yeah, if that dot next to the word live is red, that means you're pretty close to being on schedule.
Okay, yep, we're good. All right, I was actually on I was on like the NASA website itself. That's probably what my problem was. Oh, and now
I'm
my
pulling it
timer's
off.
desynced. Oh well, I'll fix it.
Yeah, we're pulling it off. I'm pulling it off SpaceX's feed.
Several times during the space shuttle program when we had as many as 13 for short periods of time. One question we've heard a lot is, where are all of these astronauts going to sleep? The space station has 7 permanent spots
sleeping quarters on Dragon 2.
Quarters. When we have more people sleeping on the station than locations for a short period of time, the crew works with flight controllers on the ground to stake out.
They're saying weather is still looking good, which is always a good thing to hear. Because not only do they have to worry about landing the first stage, but also about the mission itself. And on top of that, in case they have to do an escape scenario, in addition to a launch abort scenario, they'll be able to pop Dragon off the top of the stack, as we saw like in the launch escape test back in early 2020.
Yep. All those super Dracos firing the firing off. Oh man, that was awesome. And then watching this Falcon 9 just blow up underneath it. Oh.
Yep. And the good thing about that is, I mean, yes, it actually was in fact fully fueled. It had a second stage on there, but they didn't have an MVAC on it. It actually had a mass simulator because, you know, you don't want to destroy those too many of those things. Those things get pretty expensive, you know.
Yeah.
They're putting the plate on here on my side. I don't know. Yep.
But you can throw away all the Raptors you want. Oh gosh.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm referring to Starship there.
Yep.
Actually at the Kennedy host desk at the Kennedy press site.
Now they're on the countdown comm checks.
Minus 1 hour and 57
Yep.
minutes.
CNC, loud and clear, countdown 1.
What are those little white lights that they hold up to the capsule? Does it sense for leaks or radiation or something?
What was that again?
That's a good question.
Yeah, they have these little white, handheld lights that they use to check the capsule.
Yeah, probably for leaks or something.
They're probably they also probably have they're probably UV as well, because if they use like UVC, I'm not sure if they have UVC elements that can be miniaturized that much, but also that can be used to sterilize the area. And I think they had something similar like that before they were closing out. Now they're starting to pull away. Koyeta Killa, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the workshop and labs. Watch out for the hot soldering iron on my bench. I just realized my mouse was still on the other side.
Launch control, loud and clear, countdown 1.
All right, there we go. All right, my countdown timer is resynced. Hopefully, maybe, probably.
Let's see.
It looks like it's about 20 seconds off.
Yeah, close enough.
It's good enough.
All right, so we just heard comm checks from the Falcon 9 team and the Crew Dragon Endeavor crew sitting inside the capsule. That was the voice of Chief Engineer Emma France that we last heard.
And they're talking about growing plants in space aboard the space station. That's almost going to be necessary, especially for long-term flights, for example, to Mars.
They'll need to grow all their food, their supplies, all.
Yep, they'll have to grow everything and whatnot. And I mean, we also have the experiment. We also have the experiment on Perseverance that is Moxie, right? Actually, and they just like put it through its first paces.
Hearing about that.
Yeah, while Perseverance.
Oh, that's
was
the oxygen generator, right?
Yep, that's the one that produces oxygen, and they recently just had it to where it produced about 15 grams, I believe it was, over 2 hours, and if I recall correctly from the engineering from the engineering notes, the Moxie itself takes more energy than the RTG produces, so they actually, I believe, they have to run it off a battery.
Oh.
And they're gonna actually, or later on in the mission, they're gonna push Moxie through its paces and whatnot. So do it through different temperature seasons and all kinds of other things. So, because you obviously need to have oxygen for anything.
Oh, and of course, you know how they do lithium hydroxide for scrubbing carbon dioxide out of the air? Now, something of using a different technology, I don't know if you heard about this, but this company in Iceland is using Earth's own natural basalt to do that.
Oh, interesting.
The only thing is, though, is it's kind of expensive.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a start. Because if they can do a large scale scrubbing of the atmosphere of all the CO2, that would be really useful. It's interesting how they show the difference between basalt before before CO2's been filtered through it, and after it goes from being a very porous material to being almost completely solid.
Yeah.
And on this side, it looks like they're in the process of pulling the little diaphragm that goes between the white room and the spacecraft. So they can when the time comes, they can pull out the vehicle. They could pull the access arm away, and I think that happens like I'd say about half an hour before launch.
Yep. Yep, they do that, or right as refueling starts, I believe at T-minus. Hold on, I've got the. Where did I?
Oh yeah,
put
you got
that
the timeline.
document? Yeah, the document.
It reminds me, I should probably have that open as well.
Yeah. So at T-minus 42 minutes and counting, they will have the access arm retract. Or first at T-minus 45 minutes, propellant load will start. At 42 T-minus 42 minutes, the crew access arm will retract, and at T-minus 37 minutes is when the launch escape system is armed, and at that point, if there was any kind of if there was an emergency, then they will basically yeet the rocket. That is
right.
I've heard that's the technical term for it is yeet the rocket.
Yep. Just to be careful. Just have to be careful. Drinking pure oxygen isn't great long term either. No, it is not, because that stuff is super darn cold to begin with anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, they'd have to mix it with nitrogen or something. And where are they going to get the nitrogen from? Yeets the rocket, yes.
And the oxygen is, I mean, at this point, it's not like where you're going to have an Apollo 1 fire at this point. It's drinking this stuff's going to really, it's awfully cold to begin with anyway. Yeah, that's another thing with, that's one of the things I noticed when they, whenever they light Soyuz or they light off Delta IV Heavy, they usually pump the fuels in first and then use ambient air to light it up. And the minute they put the liquid oxygen in there, I mean, you know how you have those big huge flames that build up the side of the Delta IV Heavy.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love Delta IV Heavy just for that reason. It's one of my favorite ones to like watch.
And that's one of the reasons.
Space.
Yeah.
It's also one of the reasons why it's not human rated.
Very true. Yeah, big fireball going up the side of your rock. I don't know if we could put people on that. Delta.
Yeah, the main things that they've. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the big thing that Delta IV has been used for is the NROL missions, the National Reconnaissance.
National Reconnaissance Office, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love some of their mission patches too. The octopus one is the best. Nothing is beyond our reach.
Have a look at that.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
NROL 39, and I believe Scott Manley recently made he has a T-shirt where it's him, and it says hello.
Hello, it's Scott Manley here.
It's incredible to me to think that humans are tolerant of so many things, that they can live on Earth and in space, but they need it to be just right. Yes, very true. The humans definitely needed everything to be just perfect, the right kind of atmosphere and whatnot. You can't really go out and, I mean, I can't even go out and, to like walk around on the moon without like a spacesuit or something. Yeah, fun fact.
Oh yeah.
Moon rabbits aren't good at without oxygen either. But but you know, humans, they just need the perfect environment. You know, not too much UV. You always got to be watching that Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold.
And in fact,
if anything, if they need to worry about radiation, if they want to train on that, hey, there's a whole big exclusion zone over in Ukraine for that.
Also Japan, I'm just saying.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Right around the Fukushima plant.
Fukushima. How many X-37s there are? There are 2 of them, I believe. Both are
yeah, that's right. That's
X-37Bs. And there's still one up there just chilling up in orbit. Yep. No one knows where it is or what it's doing, but it's doing stuff.
And they're not going to tell us either.
There may even be more that we don't know of.
Yep, because we know exactly what the military is up to. Not necessarily no good, but certainly not something they're going to talk to us about. It's kind of like the saying goes, a good hacker is where everybody knows your name. A great hacker is when nobody knows your name.
Oh.
Hey, thanks for having me here. So yeah, what do we mean by watching the Earth breathe? So carbon dioxide in our Earth's atmosphere, you probably know it's going up as we burn coal, oil, gas, but it has this big...
I was having a little bit of sort of small glitchinesses on this side from NASA, SpaceX's feed.
And there's so many plants in the land of the northern hemisphere. Northern spring reduces the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In the fall and the winter, those leaves...
I could tell you, but then you would have to be destroyed by me. Oh, interesting.
Black project patches.
Symbology of all these programs is super carefully chosen. I don't doubt that.
Yes. Maintaining, especially on like a moon base or Mars base, is maintaining a good bacteria. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I assume that when you're talking about that, you're talking about the failures of Biosphere 2, right? Like you guys have heard of that experiment, correct?
Yeah, I think I have.
I believe so. Yes.
It was one out in Arizona, down near Tucson, where they did a whole experiment. They sealed away scientists inside of this like hermetically sealed biosphere to see, you know, how they would or if they could sustain themselves on, you know, the vegetation and whatnot that was there in the biosphere. And I forgot how long they spent in there, but then there was like a problem with the bacteria or something, and everything just started dying and whatnot. It's still actually active today, though. That's the interesting thing about the biosphere, is that there are certain experiments, because it's like a screenshot into the Earth.
Oh, so basically, its mission focus changed from being able to simulate something on a completely simulating life in a completely different atmosphere to basically a microcosm of Earth.
Yep, pretty much. It was trying to, you know, experiment and see how, you know, humans would fare on things like maybe the moon or, you know, Mars. But yeah, its mission scope changed drastically because of the, you know, because the original vision didn't really work out. And it's actually still technically a it's kind of a tourist attraction now too, even though they're doing live experiments as well. So
they have a lunar greenhouse, which is I'm reading it right now on the wiki. It's a second prototype of the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center. So they're basically
you know,
growing plants and recycling water through plant transpiration, sort of simulating a moon environment. which is cool.
Oh, thank you for the phrase mission focus. Yes, thank you, Kat. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
Now, the next major activity is going to be flowing a small amount of fuel onto the first stage to prime the Merlin 1D.
And pretty soon when they start loading propellants, you're going to start seeing clouds form around there, which is perfectly normal because the liquid oxygen expands to over 1,000 times as it warms up. And a lot of that is going to be just water vapor. And of course,
the view you've got here, the Dragon capsule
and of course you'll also see probably frost form along the sides of the of each of the stages.
We've got all
as we've said earlier,
the hatches closed. The comm checks with the SpaceX launch team are complete.
The Falcon 9 uses super chilled propellants, so they send it into the rocket super cold, and that's what kind of makes the mist come off of the rocket itself. And obviously, it's very moist, or it's always very humid in Florida, so you know you always have that condensation coming off of the rocket.
And furthermore, they actually they chill it even further so they can get even more propellant. Even the RP-1 they chill it a bit. That's so they can get that's so then the density is much higher. They can fill much more of it, and on top of that, that's almost necessary, especially if you're going to do stuff like land that first stage on a drone ship, which in this case is "Of Course I Still Love You."
Wait, I thought it was. Are you sure it's "Of Course I Still Love You"? I thought it was. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Of course I still.
We are waiting at
the names.
I don't know if they alternate
these drones. No, they don't. I think they might alter it. Just read the instructions, and of course I still love you. Oh, that's great.
To do an escape maneuver from the Falcon 9. We don't want the
I wonder if they're ever
going to
get a third one out there.
Into the ocean.
Because, like,
from what I understand, they actually are working on it.
The launch pad, as well as the downrange and contingency.
Reminds me of a Netflix show, Another Life, where the mission focus
so right now everything's looking go at T-minus 1 hour 37 minutes 28 seconds.
Ah, yes.
Jasmine, back to you in Florida.
Thanks, John. This mission is demonstrating our partnerships
Interesting
across
thought there.
the country and around the globe. Joining me now is Hiroshi Sasaki, Vice President of JAXA and Director General of the Human Spaceflight Technology Directorate. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Of course, of course. So Crew 2 will be the second commercial crew mission to include a JAXA
recommend
astronaut.
watching it.
Can you
I
tell
don't
us
know
what
why.
commercial crew program
I got a second season. Okay, thank you.
Oh dear. That doesn't sound very promising.
I'm waiting to see what
and Aki, as well as the Japanese.
I'm waiting to see what the stowaway entails. That seems interesting, especially like from what I saw on Scott Manley's videos and whatnot, and how it's actually realistic in how they're portraying microgravity.
I'll have to.
Or not
Yeah,
microgravity.
I've seen the links on it. I need to go check it out. Yeah.
Using the first or using the booster as like an actual counterbalance, that's pretty pog.
Will be joining Suichi Noguchi on board, and this will be the first time that there is a direct crew handover with 2 JAXA astronauts. Can you tell us how that's inspiring the next
Wait, I
generation
forgot.
of JAXA astronauts?
Have there been microgravity experiments in reality?
What do you mean? Do you mean like
artificial gravity? Sorry, not microgravity.
Artificial gravity?
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you count the time that Neil Armstrong spun up the was it the Agena, the Aegis?
Oh, the Gemini capsule.
The Gemini capsule.
Yeah.
That was an artificial experiment, albeit not one intended.
Yeah, especially considering that it almost completely exhausted his RCS propellant to the point where whatever they had left, they actually had to get back down to Earth on.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. That man spit in the face of death several times.
And from what I understand, Neil Armstrong had a bit of fun in his X-15 when he flew in it.
Yep.
Well, not necessarily fun, but
nearly skipped off the atmosphere. The moon rabbits know very well of this Neil Armstrong, let me tell you. Nearly skipped off the surface. Nearly nearly blacked out in the Gemini. And obviously the lunar, what was it? The lunar lander trainer, he blew that up on it. You know.
Oh
He had
yeah,
to
that
take
one.
the yeet seat out.
And heck, they literally only had like maybe 20 seconds worth of propellant left. From my understanding, it may have even been more when it was landing Eagle Eagle on the moon.
Well, so here's the full story with that I know. Yeah, he had like 20 seconds left, but the reason was one, there was a programming bug in the system that kept setting off the master alarm. It was saying, "Oh hey, you have low fuel. You have low fuel." When in reality they had the tank was sloshing, and so
that's right. I remember
they had
that.
tank slosh, and so that was one of the big things.
And I think that got
happened.
fixed in. I think that's one of the things that got fixed for, was it 12 or 14? I forget which one.
The use of an AR-15 on the moon is problematic. Yes, we actually we here on the moon have looked into the scenario of humans bringing AR-15s onto the moon, and we've seen it as not really. It's not based in reality. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I think you guys would be better off with like melee weapons if you guys were to just come after moon rabbits. But then again, you probably wouldn't like win at all.
That's fantastic.
We'd just be like, really? You're trying to shoot us, and then the gun would be like click, 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 because you don't have an atmosphere. Huh, it's funny. It seems gunpowder, weapons don't work without one.
Fantastic, wonderful.
Oh, they need an atmosphere in order to. They don't have oxidizer, huh?
Exactly. There's no combustion. Well, actually, you have to put oxidizer in it.
All right, thank you, Jasmine.
Be interesting.
Currently at
It'd be, no, you'd start to get into like, you'd have to redesign it to be like a 40K weapon, like a bolter pistol, where it literally has an SRB built into the gun or into the bullet. Oh god, that sounds terrifying now that I think about it. Rocket bullets. No, gosh, I'm giving them ideas. This is bad. A direction gas in pigment is a problem.
Yes, it is.
Lubricant is a problem too. Railguns. Yeah, but railguns take up capacitor, or it takes up capacitor power, or it takes up. You need a lot of power for that. Like, yeah, you could use like
you need
capacitors.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, you could
Wait a minute,
use
not that capacitor.
You could use capacitors and whatnot, but you'd need like a lot of voltage, and it would take a while for it to charge. Railguns on the moon,
And
please.
right now, I'm seeing on my side the
there's
pad
an enemy
ninjas
of
are
that.
heading away.
Okay, cool. I'm seeing the guys. Yep, there they are. We're only like 20 seconds off, I think. Yep, they're just like, okay, our job's done here. All right, let's retract the arm. We are about 45 minutes from that event, by the way.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah, they have to arm the launch escape system. What they're saying on my side here is that they were talking about the launch escape system. They have to arm that before they start tanking operations. In case there's something that goes wrong, like what happened to the Amos satellite on the ground.
So yeah, they'll do the verifying the propellants. The propellants do not get loaded. Now that I'm looking at this more closely, the propellants do not get loaded until T-minus 35 minutes and counting. And then at T-minus 16 minutes, we will get second stage LOX loading.
And I think they start RP1 loading, first on both stages, and then they do LOX loading first on the first stage, then on the second stage.
Yep, first stage, then second stage. The Soviets did a conventional cannon in space. Oh yes, the space cannon, I remember that, yeah.
Wait, really? What?
Oh yeah.
Step that has to be taken before
They made a quote-unquote conventional space cannon.
Fueling on the
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Back in the days when the Air Force was when the Air Force was like, we should just blow up the moon.
camera is Commander.
Oh god, yeah.
The Richter R-23 did
Let's just
arm
nuke the-
mirror, and they did had laser pistols.
Her right is Thomas
Laser
Pesquet,
pistols.
and then
Oh
seated
my
underneath
gosh.
the camera, so unfortunately we can't see him.
That's crazy,
That
man.
is Aki Hoshide.
Thankfully, space is not a place for war.
Yes,
for
that-
now,
by
for
treaty.
now,
Good time while they're
For now, and-
treaty. Until someone breaks the treaty, like China or America or some other place,
Sounds like
or when they discover us. I don't know.
fun inside the capsule. Tracy, you mentioned
having fun
earlier
with
that
this.
this crew
I just
Oh,
hope the
boy.
moon rabbits don't do that anything to us.
you know, the epitome of
And Kessler.
As long as you
syndrome.
guys don't do anything.
having these amazing
That's all I can
Fair
say.
enough.
And I
Would
can only
Kessler
imagine
syndrome
what it
protect
might
us
be
from
like to
moon
be, of
rabbits?
course,
Or
no
would
flying
Oh,
Kessler
that's an
syndrome
excellent question.
Oh.
blanket
that's
us?
foreign object debris, that's
I
fine,
mean,
but to
we're
be
rooting
a
for
fly on the
Kessler.
wall is
I'll be honest. Some people up here are rooting for Kessler syndrome. It'll protect us.
Yeah, for
from
those who
you.
don't know what Kessler syndrome is, that's all the space debris that's in orbit around Earth that either
yes.
has been in orbit for a long time or that has yet to deorbit or possibly never will.
Have intertwined in a number
I
of
heard
ways,
one
as you
statistic
know,
that
Shane and Tomat
I think it
flew
was
in
India
space
or
together on
China,
their
one of them,
expedition.
who shot a satellite out of
Oh,
orbit.
you know, yeah, that was India. That was India's fault.
Yeah, that like increased the space debris in low Earth orbit by like
This is
what,
how you Capcom, Aki,
25% or
he told
something.
me that he
India,
It was a
yep.
huge
Oh my
well,
God.
no, it wasn't. It was only for like 3 months. Well, the big thing, the big takeaway from that was was that I think they had to move the ISS because it actually almost like it got into an area where they were like, we should probably move this a little bit.
Danger
Also,
zone.
the big thing that India did recently, I can't remember when, but they accidentally released water bears onto the moon. Those terrifying things.
Oh, the tardigrades.
The tardigrades, yeah. Water bears, tardigrades, yeah. They left them on the moon when the thing crashed. Apparently, like they're like, yeah, those things are probably still alive. It's like, oh no.
The
Oh,
water bears are
man.
like, mission failed successfully. Yes, we are here now.
Yeah.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time. Oh my gosh.
Listen to the launch escape system health checks. Expected that to hear that about.
Did they happen to mention what the? I need to go through the materials again.
Huh?
And I don't remember offhand. How long is it? Oh, that's right. It's going to be right around 2:30 in the morning tomorrow. 2:30 in the morning tomorrow when they on my side of the country that that they're going to be docking with the
2:18,
International
yes.
Space Station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Soyuz, they do it in 3 hours.
Yeah, because Soyuz, you don't want to be in for more than 3 hours. Let's be quite honest.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the the orbital module, looks like it's so darn claustrophobic.
Just the distance you are to the space station and how far
Yesteryear's design.
Oh yeah.
That goes back to the 1970s. Like Soyuz goes back to the 1970s.
Oh man, it's kind of almost
Actually,
shameful.
its first flight was in 1967.
Yeah,
Oh,
1960. Yeah, the 60s. Gosh.
Oh my God, that thing was plagued with Soyuz 1 was plagued with problems. Unfortunately, I mean, from what I understand, one of one of its solar panels didn't deploy, and worse, of course, is there were a lot of other failures. And then when Komarov, Vladimir Komarov, the cosmonaut aboard, when he was coming back to when he was re-entering, his parachutes failed to open properly.
Oh,
His
geez.
primary chute didn't open properly, and the other one didn't open at all. And so he came full bore right on the planet, and unfortunately, pretty much all that was left of him was a heel bone.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was not good at all.
The human sacrifices required.
The Russians will fly Soyuz for another 200 years. Well, from what I understand, right. Anyway, more seriously though, from what I understand, the Russians are developing a new crewed vehicle. It's going to resemble something like like say Apollo, Dragon, Starliner, and will actually apparently be reusable and won't have the stupid, silly multiple compartment like they did with like they do on Soyuz.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like
the Russians have finally realized that it's like we need to get with the times, or you know, we're gonna be flying on SpaceX too.
Oh yes, another space race, please, please.
Which in that case, double.
Well,
yeah, we
there's
need
a-
one.
Technically, there is a space race going on. You know, who can get to, you know, with all the commercial flights and what have you.
Going into consideration for a launch.
Yeah, definitely.
Downrange weather, which is
I mean, especially now, especially with some of the ones now going small in size rather than up in size. I mean, we now. I mean, the most recent Electron that went up was was one of the first ever, one of the first big sideshare missions that I've seen.
Which one was?
And have taken their feedback and
I'm sorry, I
that was that
spaced for a
they go
moment.
up so fast.
Oh,
They grow
okay,
up so
yes.
fast.
Hey, Brycer,
Yep.
how you doing?
items need to be packed inside Crew Dragon.
Well, when it comes to the amount of rideshare, I think SpaceX holds the record for the amount of satellites launched at like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was like 134 just on that one mission. Unfortunately, I don't have my VOD for that.
It's 134.
That's one of the two VODs. That's one of the two VODs I failed to download since I started.
There's a live shot of the moon that we're looking at.
And that is another. That is sort of a
Moon.
disadvantage of being on Twitch.
We are set on
Oh, they're talking about
That's
Artemis, aren't they?
the first person of color on the moon as part of the Artemis mission, and the
Think a little bit.
experiments that the astronauts do on the space station help us learn about how life in microgravity.
But anyway, Brycer, I'm with my colleagues here.
And of course, that helps us develop
Time to down one of those energy drinks, isn't it?
Oh boy. Yeah, though, aren't they doing what was I think? Oh no, what was I thinking of? The pink moon is coming up, isn't it? The pink full super moon.
Oh really?
I'm not
Yes.
certain. I'll have to go look that up.
It's this next full moon is going to be a super moon. Should do a super.
Oh, cool.
Should do a super stream.
also wanted to let folks know that we
April 26th, 3 days later.
Yeah. But anyway, for those people who came in a little late, let me go ahead and introduce you to my colleagues here again. To the far left is Puzzle Plate, and who streams on YouTube. In fact, he's streaming right now. And to my and then to the right of him on screen is Dani Perigee. And it's thanks to False ID that I met Dani Perigee, and it's and then Puzzle Plate found me. And ultimately Puzzle Plate, I was planning to cover the launch anyway, and Puzzle Plate says, why not make it a collab? And I'm like, oh, not just yeah, but oh, hell yeah.
Heck yes. Oh.
Because I mean, we've been able to bounce stuff off each other. Oh, it looks like a lot of those. From what I understand, those. I don't know if you saw those. That's right. I don't think you're necessarily seeing that stuff just yet. But back in the shuttle days, they had apparently a bunch of zip lines that go from the pad to the ground. They're apparently still there.
Yep, they're still there. They're there in case of emergencies, in case the rocket's going boom and whatnot. They can take. If the retract arm is still there, they can pop the they can pop the thing and get them out and towards the zip lines.
Right.
There is just an electricity in the air.
But yeah.
Countdown is happening. The engine's light.
Also, if you want like, or for my viewers as well, and for Katt and whatnot, if you're interested in like how life is on the International Space Station, Soichi Noguchi, oh, I wish I had his. Do I have his YouTube up right now? No, I don't. He actually has been doing like a bunch of vlogs from the International Space Station. They're all in Japanese, but they are very interesting. Let me tell you. Like he did one where he went from one dragon, and then he kind of then moved into the crew dragon. So he went from cargo dragon to crew dragon. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's
Not to mention, I think it was on the original dragon, and the interesting thing about the speaking of dragons is that now they've switched over to Cargo Dragon 2, which is basically based on the exact same design as Crew Dragon. The only difference is that the main difference is that they dock instead of berthing.
Yep.
And
so no longer.
Unfortunately, though.
Oh, go on.
Unfortunately, though, they don't have as big a hatch to go through like, say, the Cygnus does. And the Cygnus, on top of that, also hauls heavier loads anyway.
Yeah. But however, the Cygnus cannot bring cargo back down to Earth. That's one of the big trade-offs with the Dragon. For example, like, you know, it's stuff that they want to examine back on Earth. So, for example, I can't remember when it was, but they had a research experiment called, or where they had a spider and they wanted to see if it could catch fruit flies in orbit. It was a Johnson jumping spider.
Oh.
And
Oh,
so
wow, cool.
it was sent up on an H, or the Japanese H. Oh gosh.
Oh, the
I'm so bad
H2.
at- Yeah, the H2, the HVT, and then it was docked. They ran the experiment, and they wanted to see if the spider could actually, if the spider could like readjust to Earth's gravity. And so what they did was they brought it back down in a Dragon capsule, albeit it nearly died.
Oh, I see. It went up on an H2.
It nearly died of dehydration, though. But yeah, it went down, went up on an H2, and then came back down on a Dragon. But yeah, the spider survived, and it actually went into after they did the experiments, it lived the rest of its life in a retirement home, aka the Smithsonian.
Nice. I thought I'd drop by and show you some support, Kat. Thanks, Bryce. I appreciate that. That's because this is my biggest collab to date. This is my first space collab. Excuse me. It's not the biggest one. And so that was the one with Phasmophobia that I played. But
okay, Coyote.
Yeah. I had a Phasmophobia collab back in January. One of my friends who's an artist, she got to play Phasmophobia multiplayer for the first time, and then a couple of friends of mine that I like to go hang out with on Twitch. She and her Kohai joined us, and we played Phasmophobia for an evening, and that got me into affiliate, which was great. Which it was kind of funny. One of the her Kohai actually raided me, and I guess she played the rest of the mainly so that I could have more audience for the rest of the show.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes. So let's see. On my side, it's L minus an hour and 16 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yep.
So
20 seconds behind. Yep. So we should be seeing what's our next event. Okay, yeah. The next event I see is the SpaceX launch director verifies propellant load, and that's at T-minus 45 seconds. So we are about 30 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah, we're about 30 minutes from the first checkout. So everything looks good on the Cape. Yep. You know, they're getting ready for launch. Hype.
Yep. And when they're not launching crewed vehicles, they're launching stuff like Starlink, and the very first one of the year was Turksat, which was a rather interesting vehicle because unlike many other communication satellites where they use storable propellants like UDMH and dinitrogen tetroxide, they use an ion thruster for that one because it can generate so much power. They generate so much power that they have enough left over in order to maneuver.
For station keeping, got it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of
as well as As well as, of course, for if they have to change the slot where they're in the Clark Belt.
Right. No, absolutely. You know, there's a bright future right here at Kennedy Space Center. Director Bob Cabana, thank you.
Yeah, they're back at Hawthorne right
I'm
now.
trying to think, what was the name of yeah, we're switching back to Hawthorne.
Thanks, Jasmine. We're just
All right, let's listen in for a sec.
14 minutes from launch, and we're getting pretty excited over here. Since arriving at the spacecraft,
funny thing is
crew were
that
helped
those
by our
things,
closeout engineers to get into their
they
seats,
don't
attach
produce a
their
lot of
suits to
thrust,
special
but
umbilicals that
when they're at the
provide
right
breathing air and
velocity, sometimes that little bit of thrust is all they need for Delta V.
Oh, very true, very true.
And it also has a lot more fuel to work with, so it
Hmm.
can sustain a burn for a long time.
Yep, that's why they use them for like deep space and whatnot. Aren't they using that to go to Psyche? Forgot the name of that.
The closeout team has departed the pad, and weather operators will kick off their final check on wind speeds at the pad, which will be used during the final go, no-go for launch. Now, before we get to that final go, no-go, the various teams at both NASA and SpaceX will do
The
an
space
internal
station
go poll,
mission
making sure
control.
conditions are right with the Falcon 9 and the Dragon. The crew
Yeah, they're launching a mission to the to that asteroid out there that's Psyche.
Oh, yeah.
It's between Mars
I
and
know
Jupiter. And I think
okay.
they're using an ion thruster for that. Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Are they going to land something? I know they recently landed something on a. I think I'm not sure if it was a comet or an asteroid too. And then that's right.
They
went and
landed
grabbed
it
a
on
bunch of material from it?
Bennu. Yes.
Yeah, that's right,
remember that
Bennu.
mission. Osiris is like, it's just the tip, don't worry. And then Bennu's like, oh, okay, go ahead and touch me. And then Scott Manley be like, they got down at least 2 meters into that soil. And there was so much
And they
material.
got so darn much of it. They got so much of it. They had a hard time closing the container.
Yeah, they were like, we were going to measure how much we got, but we got so much of it that we're worried that, it's going to leak out. So we're just going to seal it away and hope for the best. Like, they were going to measure it by doing like, gosh, what is it called? By using gravity. Essentially what they were going to do is have the satellite itself, like, spin around while the sample was like extended out on an arm, but they said we don't want to lose material and we don't want the material to hit our spacecraft, so just put it in a box, put it in the lunch box, and just send it back. We'll send it back there. And yeah, actually, gosh, there's so much sample. It's like scientists really want their sample collections from these drones, now that I think about it. Like, China just did some sample collection from the moon.
From the moon, yeah.
And
Chang'e 5.
Yeah, Chang'e 5. And then what's her what was it? Oh yeah, Perseverance is leaving rock samples for a future ESA mission whenever that happens.
Oh, cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if just astronauts kind of picked it up. Yes, and Hayabusa. Oh my goodness, how could I forget about Hayabusa?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Hayabusa literally got some samples as well. So much sample collection out there.
Yeah, and the speaking of Perseverance, of course and I think I don't want to. I think it was you, Danny, who covered the Ingenuity's flight, right?
I didn't cover the Ingenuity, the helicopter, but I did cover the landing of Perseverance.
Okay, Brycer, have a good evening. Sleep well.
And his second long-duration mission. He flew on STS-127.
Dang, second long-duration mission. What?
Did Ingenuity fly yet?
Yes, it did. It did. It did. It hovered, and then it came back down. first flight on another planet. Do you believe that? Gosh.
Yeah, first powered flight. It's like seeing that going on. It's like, I mean, especially considering that Mars has like 100, I mean, maybe 100th of the density of Earth's atmosphere. It's like 1% of Earth. So you have to really have, you have to have lots of, we have to be able to generate lots of thrust just to lift them off the planet.
Publisher perish. I wouldn't be surprised if SpaceX give you tenure. All right, go on, Danny. I'm sorry.
They actually flew it a second time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They're putting in the tests
Nice
for
to
that
have
little bugger.
repeatability.
Over the last 3 hours, our crew of
That's a little nerve-wracking.
Makes me wonder
when
if
you
they
think
actually.
about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wonder if they actually do something where they pull a vacuum enough to the point where it's like the same density as Mars, and as well. I doubt they're going to do they'll be able to do the gravity of that. They actually have to, because I know with the Vomit Comet type planes, you can actually simulate Martian gravity.
Yeah.
In addition
Well,
to, of course,
you can simulate
weightlessness.
it on Earth too. You just need to have you have to have some sort of gravity reduction. So either like if you're doing it outdoors, you have like a thruster that literally is there just to what is it called? Just to negate the gravity. Or if you're doing it inside, you give it like you have like string, or you have like a string from the ceiling, and that's pulling just enough to give it the same gravity effect as Earth. I know currently they have some sort of autonomous flying simulator that's supposed to test like software for what is it called? Like software that's supposed to be used for Artemis, for landing and whatnot. But yeah,
we're approaching T-1 hour.
It's very interesting stuff.
Tracy, what is going through the astronauts' head right now as they're seated in their capsule and they're ready?
They're talking about having a bit of a party inside the capsule of sorts.
Did they do a pressure test of their suits yet? Because I see that they all have their. No, I think they do that like T-minus an hour.
Oh, no, they did.
Okay.
T-minus 2 hours 14. They
Alright.
closed their helmets previously.
Grabbing a charger cable real quick here for
Already?
for the phone I'm using to monitor your YouTube stream.
They look so excited.
Or at least they're kind of excited. They're kind of excited for.
I remember
for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, Victor Glover is like the most excited out of the crew. The rest of them, they're like, "Ah, we've done this before," and just Soichi Noguchi's just chilling, like almost looking like he's half asleep in the thing. It's like
Soichi, of course, Soichi Noguchi's been through all three.
Oh gosh. He's been on STS, Soyuz, and now Dragon.
That's absolutely true.
And also, I believe he did did he produce it or direct it? I know at least he was actually a cameo voice actor on an anime too. So
nice.
Props to SpaceX.
Possibly Space Brothers, if anything.
Yes, Space Brothers. It was Space Brothers.
That makes sense.
I mean, if you want to be technical, then SpaceX launched anime into space.
Nice.
Named Endeavor that Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley first flew in almost 1 year ago.
Oh my gosh!
I have a
swear
question
he's.
for you two.
Yes, go on.
How did you guys get into, space and the love of rockets and stuff?
They're able to follow all the milestones that
Oh, that's a good question. The actually, let me.
which allow them to gain insight into.
I'm trying to get this thing taken care of real quick. But to answer your question from my side, I probably learned a little bit about it when I was a kid. One thing to bear in mind is I'm probably older than most VTubers out there right now. Let me think real quick here.
Even the ones that are like 9,000 years old.
I mean, I'm 377 moon years.
All right.
About to turn 378.
I'm doing a real quick
actually.
recal.
All right.
There we go. That's better.
What about you, Puzzle?
Hi, Bennett. How you doing?
For me, well, on the VTuber side of things, being a moon rabbit, you know, it was fascinating seeing the I guess what do you call it on Earth? Like the heritage side of the of like the Apollo 11 and those places and visiting that stuff. And kind of like what my grandpa's shown me and what have you. So it's kind of just,
yeah.
I don't want to say it's necessarily in my blood, but you know, just the family itself has always been interested in that stuff. But
yeah,
you know,
same here.
but yeah,
apparently, I got to see. I mean, I've been around long enough to see all. Monster Hunt Rise has taken over my life over 190 hours in 2 weeks. Please help.
You poor
yes.
soul.
Maybe I should tell Phoebe to say to get a leash on you. Phoebe is Phoebe-chan Chibi. She is another VTuber whom I'm working with for VTube Fest, and she and Bennett Ace Trainer is one of her mods on her channel. So she's coming by and just wanted to, I guess she just wanted to check in. Yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, here's, so give us about maybe an hour and we'll show you the. So anyway, in about an hour, they're going to be launching Crew 2 up to the International Space Station. Another Japanese astronaut from JAXA is going up. They're just saying that they're go for launch at T-minus 62 minutes.
Nice.
Okay, so are we in the go no go pool?
I don't know just yet. We'll hear about it soon enough.
Okay,
at least on
so
my side.
when we go to the go no go poll, hey, thank you, Case Coyote, for the subscription. Subscription.
Subscription.
Good to hear that we are still go. Today's launch.
Thank you guys for the follow or follow. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm thinking in Twitch because I'm seeing the alert box come up and I'm not used to the alert box at all. But yes, thank you for subscribing, guys.
And was selected as an astronaut in 2004. Kimbrough is a retired U.S. Army colonel and holds degrees in aerospace engineering and operations research.
So basically, right now they're introducing the various the astronauts that are going up on Crew 2 on my side.
Yes, I'm seeing that as well. 189 days in space. Jeez. Megan MacArthur.
Yep, they're just about to. Yeah, it sounds like you're about 20 seconds behind me.
And she was on the final Hubble telescope servicing mission. Oh man.
Yeah.
That thing's still up there. Jeez.
Yeah, and that's also the final one that was the final mission that was not in the same orbital plane as the ISS.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they had no ability to escape to the. Oh, hang on a sec. I need to turn on my webcam. Decided to stop tracking. Hang on just a sec here, guys.
Mission specialist Aki Hoshide has suited up for his third space flight today.
There we go.
Born in Tokyo, Hoshide was selected as an astronaut in 1999 by the National Space Development Agency of Japan, known today as JAXA. Hoshide earned his degrees in aerospace engineering.
STS-124 and
STS-124 aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery to deliver and install
Expedition 3233, and that's aboard a Soyuz capsule.
Yep. I can only imagine the JAXA astronauts have been on like every one. Well, except for Starliner, obviously.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
And of course, Starliner has yet to fly. Yep, can't say I blame you.
Got some good call-outs there. 2014, he also served
And
as
we got
commander
Thomas
of the
Pesquet.
18th NASA Extreme Environment Mission Operation, which was an
ESA
underwater
astronaut.
expedition at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Aquarius habitat off of Florida's Key Largo coast.
Mission specialist Thomas Pesquet will be making his second trip to space. Born in Rouen, France, Pesquet was selected by ESA as an astronaut in 2009. He has a degree in spacecraft.
That's right. It's gonna, like we were saying, he's the first he's the first European astronaut to fly. Pesquet.
Starliner, what, 17 will be the first to fly? I don't know.
He's logged 197 days in space. Pesquet will be the first European to fly in Crew Dragon, and it will be the
We're within an hour.
has launched from America in more than a decade.
T-minus 1 hour and counting. Again,
Yeah,
I will.
Within 15 minutes, they're gonna start prop loading. Oops.
Yep.
Starting to get exciting. And a little bit tense.
All right, we're inside 59 minutes from launch. The day is a continuation of regular crew flights to space station from U.S. soil. This will be the third Crew Dragon flight with crew
Let's
and
listen
its
in.
second long-duration mission to the International Space Station.
The
Dragon
astronauts.
SpaceX, you are go for Section 6. When ready, report go for launch.
Copy, Section 6, and work.
The astronauts are also flying on the Crew Dragon Endeavour, which is the same capsule that launched Bob Bacon and Doug Hurley last year. And today, Bob's
Oh yeah,
wife,
they're an
Megan,
astronaut
is the
family,
pilot
aren't
on
they?
this flight, sitting in the same
I know
seat that he did.
SN15 is under the knife right now.
It's been an
Yeah.
awesome countdown so far. Weather is still looking good, and the excitement is picking up as we get
They
closer
just
and
got
closer
go
to
for the
that
launch.
T0.
They just got the
Jesse,
go
we
for
had a
launch
great
here.
countdown today, starting with Suit Up just
Yep.
over 3 hours ago. The SpaceX team helped us.
So this was
crew
recorded
put on their
earlier.
suits
We
and
got
conduct initial
them
checkouts
putting on the
before crew
suits.
walkout. Crew walkout was where
SpaceX
Shane
Endeavour,
Kimbrough.
go for launch.
Yep, they're showing
SpaceX
them
copies,
boarding
go
the
for launch.
elevator, getting ready to head
All
out.
right, the crew reporting go for launch real time. This just comes right after crew walkout where Shane
Coming out of the they're coming out of the Armstrong Center, and now they're showing them going across the crew access arm, both from the outside and from the inside.
That arm is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
It looks so
modern.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And of course the Teslas.
Natch, because after all, it is another Elon Musk thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The aesthetic. We need to get people excited for space.
A series of checks to ensure the suits, seats, and vehicle interactions were all functioning properly.
And all the pad ninjas there.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes they even like wear.
Oh, it sounds like they got the go no go poll is about to be made.
All right. Again, we'll just mute to hear that.
Was completed at T-minus 60 minutes, and we did hear those call-outs. And the Dragon poll for prop load will occur here in just about a minute at T-minus 55 minutes. After that will be T-minus 45 minutes will be the internal mission control Hawthorne poll, and then the launch director's poll for propellant loading. And when we get to about T-minus 40 minutes, the crew access.
According to this, about 20 minutes from now, they're going to stop prop loading.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Lots of things coming up.
A lot of things coming in sequential. We got T-minus 10 minutes until the pull, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the countdown, we've been getting some pretty incredible views of the astronauts. You see there on the right, making their final preparations, as well as some close-up views of the suits. The teams have often described the suits as an extension of the Dragon spacecraft, almost a mini spacecraft inside of a spacecraft.
And we're coming up on
So we're
T-minus
hearing that
55 minutes.
SpaceX teams are go for launch, and we'll wait for that call for propellant loading.
I am 1 second behind you.
Cool.
Basically in sync.
They're still saying that weather is go for launch. They're basically saying that basically anything for an escape is go. The downrange, I guess, also for first stage recovery is go as well.
Go for today's launch. Pad escape winds are go. The weather up the ascent corridor is go.
So we're inside of 20 minutes until they start doing propellant loading. Or at least pretty soon they're going to pull for propellant loading, and at which point they should be arming the flight escape system. Launch escape system.
Frozen pizza time? Excuse me?
This person said that they are eating frozen pizza.
Yeah.
Or Coyote said it.
So it's
very quiet right now. I think we're all like everyone's waiting in anticipation for the go no go pull. They're all like, oh man.
All right, so again, there are several milestones here now that we're less than an hour away from launch. Most of the calls will be the team's readiness to get ready for propellant loading at T-minus 35 minutes. Once we reach that mark, propellant loading will begin. Some of the RP1 refined kerosene will start to fill the tanks of both.
I believe they continue to top those off, top the LO2 off as time goes on.
They continuously pump locks into it.
About 20 minutes prior to launch.
And they, I think they close out like minute and a half before they actually launch, and then they pressurize.
Yep, they pressurize and they go. They launch that sucker and they go.
First stage and 2 minutes before launch for the second.
Surprised they don't arm the escapes. Oh.
All right, and
there's going to be a launch poll right around the T-minus 45 minute mark.
Here in Mission Control Houston, the first checked and the first milestone.
Well, they can't arm the escape system
coming up at T-minus 45 minutes with the launch
because
teams, and then prop load is set to begin
the
at
arm is there.
35.
So you can't launch that until the arm retracts.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Joining me now is NASA's Acting Administrator Steve Jerzik. Thank you so much for being here today.
So there are procedures to get the crew out ASAP if when the crew arm is in there.
Last summer we launched Demo 2 and then Crew 1 in the fall, and we're gearing up to launch 4 more astronauts from American soil. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. If you were to tell
oh man, all this these contracts with
flights launched in less than a year, I would have just been ecstatic.
It's so interesting seeing like how many crew launches there is now. Like it's crazy because like now that we don't have to necessarily rely on the Russians to do it, it's just makes things so much easier for us, and overall makes the ISS a lot busier. A lot more can get done.
Definitely.
Think about all those lithium batteries and that thing. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of lithium batteries in it.
Yeah, they. And from what I understand, I think the lithium-ion batteries went up on one of the Japanese resupply modules.
Yep.
For the first astronaut landing on the moon under Artemis. So we have the SLS, the core stage test. Was successful a month ago at Stennis. And so
they still have to do SLS. That's probably not going to be till 2022, isn't it?
To Kennedy Space Center as we speak.
I suspect not.
Next week, and that'll mean all the components of SLS are here at Kennedy for integration.
Yeah, they just did they finally did it. From what I understand, I have to go and look at the videos, but apparently they actually did a successful green test.
Yeah. What the green test was the firing of the rockets. Yeah, the hot fire. Well, no, the first test they did of the hot firing failed.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
But then they did a second one. Yeah. They had a problem with the gimbal or something like that.
First Artemis missions.
Yeah, there was a gimbal issue. That's my understanding anyway.
We'll conduct the first Artemis 1
It's
mission,
interesting how
which will be an
the
unmanned test flight around the
SLS
moon.
and Starships, you know,
That is exciting. You know, as we're
development
looking at
is
going
so
to the moon,
different.
we're also
One
looking
just
to
blows
further
up
to
as
Mars.
many
We made
prototypes
history
as
just
possible,
this week with the first
whereas the
flight
other
of
one is like,
Ingenuity,
we will
a
make
development
everything
mounted
perfect
experiment that is
on the first
converting
go
the
and
Martian
just launch it.
atmosphere into oxygen. So what
Yeah.
does that mean for our hopeful
Interesting.
But on the other hand, when it comes to, but from what I understand, especially the materials on Starship, it's all stainless steel. That stuff is dirt cheap.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
The entire
They're
thing, I was really
making
Not when you
surprised.
compare it, a lot cheaper than carbon fiber composites. Yeah.
They're
Yeah, the whole
literally
thing-
making grain silos. They're literally grain
Yeah.
silos with wings and
The people that they hired
and
to build
fuel
the
rockets.
first prototypes. Yeah.
They literally were grain silo construction companies.
Yeah.
They're just like
And
whatever.
They're supposed to be hot firing. I mean, they're supposed to be doing a static fire test later on today for SN15.
Yep.
Well, NASA relies upon the goodwill of people, senators, who don't necessarily like space.
Unfortunately, that is the case, and that's why SLS is still alive, because a lot of that has to do with contractors. Make sure that they have make sure that their contract's still being offered and being fulfilled.
What do they call it in America? The military industrial complex or something like that?
Something like that. That sounds about right.
If I remember one video I've seen about a totally fictional, or that was about a totally fictional machine of war, and the guy in it was explaining about graft and red tape and graft and graft and graft, and lucrative job positions outside or once they're no longer a senator.
Oh yeah.
SpaceX relies upon the goodwill of a mad billionaire. Very true.
Billionaire.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Same with Blue Origin as well, except that one is bald. And kind of looks like I'll be quite honest, Bezos kind of looks like a Bond villain. I don't know why I
He
think
does,
that,
doesn't
but he
he?
does.
He really does, doesn't he?
Kind of nervous when like Elon Musk literally went when SpaceX was just like a thought. Elon Musk literally went to the Russians and was like, "Hey, you guys got like some leftover ICBMs?
Sell me one."
Yeah. Can you sell me one? You cannot sell me one. Okay, I'll just build my own.
He's on a plane and like, wait a moment, I could build these things
After
cheaper
several
myself."
after several failures later, they got their first one going, and the rest is history.
Also, apparently, like if I remember one article I read, when they had their island base or I can't remember where it was, but they had an island base at one point that was on a either an Air Force or Army reservation or something. They didn't get the engineers apparently didn't get adequate food and so they literally went on strike until they got food. But this was like in the infancy when SpaceX barely had any money.
Oh wow.
Kind of nervous when SpaceX and NASA decided, oh hey, you know what? Let's reuse the whole thing, despite saying they wouldn't reuse it. Yeah, that confused me as well when I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. They're reusing the booster? And they're reusing Crew Dragon? I thought they said that they weren't going to do that, and then they did it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they actually said that shortly after the launch of Crew 1.
I was surprised.
I guess everything went so well. They especially after they looked at Endeavor when she came back down.
And it
looks like they're about to start prop loading.
Yep. Here we go. Hold on. Let's
arm is still in the service
Let's
position.
listen to the cast.
The crew is on board Dragon, waiting for next instructions, which will be to stow the arm for launch and to arm the launch escape system. Once the launch director gives final instructions to the launch team, which should be coming up in about 30 seconds, the crew arm sequence will be armed and initiated. We should get a good view of the Axis arm as it swings away from the capsule, taking about 2 minutes to move out of the way. Now the range continues to be go for launch. They're monitoring the area around the pad as well as air and sea space around the flight corridor. And on the weather front, The weather officer gave a fantastic at the T-1 hour briefing. The winds for all conditions of flight, liftoff, contingencies, getting into space, everything looks good both at ground level and upper altitude. So right now we're just waiting to listen to the SpaceX launch director give the poll and then also give the instructions to the team and move into retracting the crew access arms. So we're going to listen for a minute to the countdown net.
Poll is complete and team is ready for propellant load and crew access arm retract. For non-urgent no-go conditions, brief the CE or LD and they'll approve aborting the launch auto sequence and proceed into launch abort. For urgent issues affecting the safety of the countdown, operator shall call hold on the countdown net. Launch control will abort the launch auto sequence immediately and proceed into the launch abort auto sequence. Operators advise launch director whether structural breakup or fire is imminent or occurring per Dragon manual escape flight rules. In the event of a fire alarm, key operators will remain in their post while the alarm is evaluated. In the event that personnel safety is threatened, evacuate to the south-facing emergency exit, which leads directly outside. Launch control, you may proceed with arming the crew arm for movement.
It's moving.
And there we have it. Retraction is happening. Okay. Anyways, going back to what I was saying about. Oh, I love it. You know, they're talking, or in my chat, they're talking a bit about like the F-35, and there goes the arm. Well, look at, that's it's so cool to watch it go back like that.
God.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
so high tech.
Beautiful. So high tech.
One big arm.
Oh wow, there's that from this side. I'm seeing an actual camera view from the arm itself. It is beautiful.
Yes. Gosh.
You can see part of the TE strongback.
All right, so next. All right, next event is 37 minutes, and we've got 30 where they will arm the launch escape system. So at this point, if there was an emergency, the arm would go back over and get the astronauts out, and they'd use their zip lines and whatnot to get down. And so once that launch escape is done, then if there's any issues, they will basically take the Super Dracos up. Anyways, going. Real quick thing I want to say, because now it's itching the back of my brain right now. About the F-35, it's funny. I've researched a bit of human history, and have you guys ever heard of the F-111 Aardvark?
Yes, I have. In fact, there was one. There's an Air Force base here nearby that I live by that used to have one on display. F-111 Aardvark, General Dynamics has one of the first variable geometry wing aircraft, as well as also one of the first ever to sport Mach 1 using turbofans.
So I don't mean to diss anything about the Aardvark when I say this, but it seems to me that, like, from what I know about American history and especially like wars or like the Cold War, is that the Aardvark was an end all, was supposed to be like a multi-role, multi-platform, like, you know, all for every branch of the military kind of vehicle. Now, does that sound familiar to you guys? Because that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, kind of like like the F-35. Oh, and they just made the call for. On my side, they just made the call to arm the LES.
Okay, cool. Yep, launch escape is going. But yeah, last thing I
watched a documentary that basically said that it was meant for the Air Force and the Navy. The Navy hated it and ultimately ended up going with the F-14 Tomcat by Grumman.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
let's just say
Whereas
an old.
whereas the USAF and the RAAF ended up using it.
Yep. The AA Vigilante, yes, that as well. But yes, let's just say I know an old man on Earth who really enjoys, or who actually worked on the F-14 Tomcat, and I once mentioned a man's name to him, and this man was Robert McNamara, and he blew a gasket. He's like, McNamara,
Oh,
that
wow.
guy, blah, blah, blah. He went on a full-on rant about how McNamara pushed the aardvark and whatnot, and the Navy never wanted the aardvark, and there were so many issues, and the Navy and Grumman apparently had like a mock-up of the F-14, and they pulled open like a hangar to a bunch of admirals where they had this prototype, and the admirals were like, oh, we need this. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that, is that not every branch of the military should have the same, fighter system.
Looks like
All
they
right,
were. I don't know
anyways.
if you're going to see it in a minute. There, it looks like the ISS was flying overhead, and they managed to get a picture of it.
Oh, that's so cool. There it is. There it is. There it is. All right, we got to catch up to it.
Yep.
I just imagine they're all waving, like, so she's just outside in what module is that? The cupola module, just
And apparently
waving. Everyone's just
Mm-hmm.
But go on.
They're apparently calling 95% ready. 95% go, which is even better than before.
Yes, the Navy and the Air Force did not have similar requirements. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Also, the A-10 is also a really good point as well. I'm sorry. That's the last thing I will say about military stuff. We're here about space stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was rather interesting, though. Speaking of the back to the F-111 for just a sec, during the Sydney Olympics, apparently what happened is that one of the things they did at the ending ceremonies of the Olympics, they extinguished the cauldron at the same time an F-111 flies overhead and does a so-called dump and burn, where they dump some fuel and then ignite that fuel, basically symbolically sending it off to Athens, which is where the next Olympics would be held.
Nice.
Oh, interesting.
There's video of it on YouTube. It's really interesting to watch.
This launch escape system in multiple ways. We performed a pad abort test where a Dragon capsule was on the pad and simulated an abort where it took off like a rocket like you've never seen.
So right now they're talking about the abort stages that they've done.
We also conducted an
Yeah, the in-flight abort test.
Yes. Including the in-flight abort where they the rocket went through, I believe it's called rapid scheduled disassembly now, wasn't it, in that case?
Yeah, that's true. We were anticipating it blowing up anyway.
Yeah.
And I loved Tim Dodd's explanation of what would happen to the first stage versus other ones that are actually expendable.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wondering why it looks a little
Yes, it will land, but in quite a few little pieces.
Yes. I think they did actually get telemetry from the second. I think they kept telemetry on the second stage for a bit before, it went boom.
That's my understanding. Yeah, I think there was some telemetry coming down from that until it. I'm not sure if it impacted the ocean or possibly even sooner than that. I don't know.
Time to catch up, our big boss. I hope they would say, "Let's light this candle." Let's light this candle. Yeah.
Yep, that's what they did on DM2.
Mm.
So this is kind of cool.
Yeah, Thomas, they were answering questions about it, and he started to say we carved.
It just called propellant load has started on my side.
Yep, here we go. We are going into propellant load, folks. This is basically the point. I don't want to say it's the point of no return, but this is where, you know, we're
point of no return
for
T minus
real.
1 minute.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right on that. That's when you know, pressurization is. But this, we're getting closer and closer.
And this first stage booster is set to
The guy on the left, no joke, looks like Tony Hawk in a mask. Not Katt, the photo they showed. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
I was wondering for a moment.
What?
I was wondering for a moment. I saw that just now on the on the YouTube chat.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about times,
I heard of that.
What time is it over there? It's like 6 p.m. where you are, right, Danny?
5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
It's quarter after 2 in the morning here.
Yep.
What we call Dragon Land, and in order to fly, Dragon needs
So fun fact, on my Stream Deck, I actually, just in case, I don't think, fingers crossed it doesn't happen, but I actually have a button that says scrubbed. And it's
basically it shuts down the stream saying, darn it, no, it didn't happen. Stop.
Nope, it literally just puts over, or it overlays on my countdown clock. It's just scrubbed with the frowny face.
Oh, nice.
That would come very useful for things like the Starship prototype.
Oh, yes.
Which scrubs basically half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also have a T+ launch. By the way, that's actually a tip for anyone out there. If you really want to get into like hardcore streaming, I can't recommend enough like a Stream Deck or something like that, or like macro keys, because it helps out so much. Also, the Stream Deck, you can put funny GIFs on.
In my case, I use an app that also allows me to cycle through sequential stuff, but some of the stuff I actually have to. They have little buttons on there that allow me to select a particular scene pretty much at will.
Cool. Also, the GIF I have for T+ launch is this glitched. I guess it's from a glitched version of a Pokemon Stadium. And it's Diglett. It's Diglett using fly. It flew up high, and it just goes. It goes into the air like this. Whoa.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening here. It's a big stick flying into the sky.
Exactly.
And it takes up less volumes. So this allows us to get more oxidizer loaded onto the first and second stage.
They're talking about how they pack in all the oxidizer by super chilling it.
We use an ignition fluid
Yep.
called T-tub.
And that's what we spoke about earlier.
In contact with oxygen, it burns. And it gives off a green color.
And we're starting to see some, at least on my side, we're starting to see some of the venting of evaporating oxidizer.
Yep, we've got the condensation coming off of the rocket right now. Again, as you guys have probably noticed, the rocket is very sooty. Now, this is actually a reused booster from, it's actually reused from the last mission, right? Crew.
The ones who are coming down, it went up on that one.
Yep.
That makes up the first stage.
And there's NASA's meatball and worm logo.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Crew 1, was it Demo 1 or no, Demo 2, where Glover and the other astronaut who were doing the telecast were arguing over whether the meatball or the worm was the best. It's like they're both pretty good.
That was probably Crew. I
well,
see.
No, because Glover
I guess they were
was
talking
there.
about it
was
before their
Demo
launch.
2.
Yeah. Okay.
Carbonized by the clear coat. Correct.
Until T-minus 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
It's got a little bit of, a little bit of dead on it. It's fine. Oh, why did I go into a New York accent? I am really tired now. We are 30 minutes in.
New York accent.
Yeah, God.
Minus 30 minutes on this side.
T-minus. Yep. Here we go.
Weather is still looking good, according to them.
Yep.
The crew training in the simulator.
Thank goodness for the U.S. Space Force. Gosh, that is... that is the coolest name ever. Yeah, we're the Space Force.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Now the range
What?
controllers report no problems. They are go to support launch. And the weather also looks good. I mentioned the T-minus 1 hour briefing. We called it fantastic.
And again,
We don't have anything that we are tracking that could be a concern. We have a very
and again, I think we have the coolest name for like an well, not intelligence, but like the lunar core. I think that sounds really cool. Up here on the moon.
Yeah, it does.
It still looks better than anything the Russians fly. Oh, that's hard for me to say. I mean, the Soyuz looks pretty damn cool. Let's be quite honest. Like with its green look, kind of, and also the Korolev cross. You can't go wrong with the Korolev cross.
Yeah, definitely not. Except on MS-10, where one of the block L's got stuck to it.
Once again, human error on that one. I think was it?
Yeah,
where it got
one of
stuck
the ball joints was bent. Yep.
It looks cool in 1973. Okay, very true. And you know, we do have a lot of modern things. And I will say that as far as cool launches go, you can't go wrong with Delta IV Heavy. Gosh, that thing looks so cool. It's like a fireball that literally just lights itself on fire as if it's trying to escape from hell itself. Oh, that's the best description.
Excuse me.
Can you tell I'm tired?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're going over what the rocket's gonna do. During the launch, about a minute in, it's gonna go into Mach Q, which is where it will experience the most maximum dynamic pressure. At which point it will throttle down and then throttle back up, you know, to get the most prop.
Yep,
and
looks like it's starting to.
Yep.
I don't know when they are going to start putting oxidizer in the second stage, but I noticed there's venting up near the top, possibly near the top.
LOX loading of the second stage begins at T-minus 16 and counting.
Right, and we'll start seeing clouds emerge from it once that starts.
Oh, God, that's, you know what, Coyote, that is one thing that hurts me inside, is when I saw those pictures of Buran in the, you know, just sitting out there in the vehicle assembly building, rotting away. And it's like, oh man, what are you doing, Russia? We need a billionaire to go out there and save that thing. I swear.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, it was destroyed anyway because the hangar in Kazakhstan it was in had collapsed, along with the Energia rocket that it was mated to.
No, there was another one that wasn't. There's I think there's like two of them. I have to find the pictures, but there's two of them that are just sitting in a hangar. It's just rotting away.
You know, but the original Buran, unfortunately, was destroyed.
Yeah, it was destroyed. 4 people, was it 4 people that lost their lives in that accident? I think. Oh.
You know, I don't know. That's a good question. I think I did hear that there were casualties. Yeah.
Like the Buran, honestly, was probably was like slightly better than this. I hate to say it like this, but was slightly better and maybe a little safer than the shuttle. Because for one, it didn't use SRBs, and 2, it could fly autonomously and land autonomously.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it did that extremely well, and even in a big crosswind.
Yeah, although I think it only had room for 2 cosmonauts. Oh my goodness, did I just say astronauts? That was a big sin.
That's fair.
Cosmonaut, comrade, not astronaut.
On the station continue to function normally. The teams have verified the command path.
Yeah, Shannon Walker's in temporary command because the other one, I think it was. I think it was. I think it was. I forget who it was, but it was. It was one of. It was the. It was the U.S. astronaut that came down from the Soyuz MS-17 who was in command.
Ah. Want to be shocked? Google MiG. The thing was gonna replace the Soyuz before the Buran. A MiG? Wait, I thought a MiG was. Okay, gosh dang it! Now you're bringing me down the rabbit hole here.
Oh my goodness, this is going to get interesting, to say the least.
Oh, it is a plane. It's like a space plane.
Just a reminder that a launch today will take about 23.5 hours to get to station, with a docking to the Node 2 forward port scheduled tomorrow at 4:10 a.m. Central. Once Dragon is docked to the station, the team here in Houston will assist Dragon and space station astronauts with leak checks as they will work to open hatches on both Dragon
yes, I remember.
I think I remember hearing a little bit about that one.
Pressurized mating adapter. We expect hatch open to take place approximately 2 hours after docking.
Yeah, okay. MiG is just the manufacturer. It's not the. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Mikoyan Gurovich.
All right, thanks, Courtney. You are looking live.
Actually, wait, hold on.
Rocket and SpaceX Crew Dragon.
Hold on.
Liquid oxygen venting.
This thing kind of looks like Dream Chaser.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Lifting bodies, man. Lifting bodies.
Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh, I chuckle whenever I think of Dream Chaser.
I was thinking about one of the first things I thought of when I first saw Starship do its belly flop maneuver is it's just like the lifting bodies that NASA tested back in the 60s.
Yes.
Actually, was it the 60s or was it the 50s? I forget.
Are you talking about X-15 or Dinosaur? Convergent design.
No, I'm talking about. Oh, I see. You're talking one of the audience there. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Because a lot of those designs went into the space shuttle, and of course, I think a lot of that actually might have even gone into Starship.
Maybe.
Yep. Flights to the International Space Station from US.
But yeah, small fun thing.
That's true.
My my insider that I know who works in the, I guess, what is it called? He sells cable assemblies to like you know, military and space and whatnot. He sold he sold something to, or I think he's still in the works of it. Something to Dream Chaser, and yeah, he's been working with them pretty closely. Yeah. So
that'd be Sierra Nevada.
Yep, Sierra Nevada Corporation, SNC. What's interesting about their thing is they have two modules. They've got the I forgot what the name of it is, but they've got like the back end module, and then they've got the lifting body. And the back end is supposed to release from the ship itself, and just like in the case of Soyuz, that back end will burn up in the atmosphere. So you throw all your garbage and whatnot in there in like the back section.
Oh, I see.
And then you you know, put all the stuff that you want to land on Earth in the normal section. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's its own garbage bag.
And from what I
Except
understand,
a very expensive one.
Yeah, the Dream Chaser was also originally supposed to be a crewed vehicle, but
yes,
it has since been converted into a cargo vehicle.
They didn't win the crew resupply, so they went, but they also put in, just like everyone else, they put in for the cargo resupply as well, and they won that contract.
Yeah.
So, in the future, you know, well, it probably won't change, but you know what? In the future, they could possibly convert it into, you know, probably with some small modifications, just like they did, well, major modifications in the case of Dragon, to make it crew rated. But I don't know what it'd launch off of, if it would launch off of Atlas or if it would launch off of Falcon 9.
Well, CST-100 Starliner is supposed to be able to launch from pretty much the big three, which are Falcon 9, Atlas Centaur, and Vulcan Centaur.
The same route X-37 supposedly took. Yep, pretty much. I mean, all lifting bodies.
Yep,
kind
exactly.
of. They all have to have a similar shape.
Yeah.
Still don't know what that X-37's doing up there. Ooh.
Spooky.
It is spooky because it's literally, it'll sit up there for years on end and people will be like, where is, and just one day it'll just randomly land in Cape Canaveral, or does it land in Vandenberg or Cape?
I'm not sure if it's either. It could also be just as well Edwards Air Force Base or White Sands Missile Test Range in New Mexico.
Anyways, it'll eventually just land and everyone will be like, oh, we forgot you were up there. Okay. The triangle UFOs everyone saw in the 90s. Are you talking about the Phoenix Lights incident? I think that's which one you're talking about. I think that's actually been debunked, but yeah.
Mm.
For a 124-day visit to the space station. And in the
Now, if I gotta comment this far, getting you guys in here actually has worked a lot better than I thought it would. I've actually been running this for hours now, for almost 3 hours now, and it's been pretty flawless for me anyway.
Not so much for me. Let's see here. 69, nice. Dropped frames over the last 2 minutes. I think that's
okay.
Just
okay, now we're starting to really see some condensation coming off the coming off the first stage.
Yep.
Big cloud of smoke.
That means that she's almost full. So we'll be seeing engine chill at T-minus 7 minutes and counting. Anyways, next stream, I promise you guys I will fix the video lag issues. Hopefully. I blame the internet provider on the moon. Let's put it that way. You know, it takes like it takes like, you know, a minute or so, or 2 minutes to get it.
I think it's like 10 seconds for light to travel from Earth to the moon.
Yeah, it takes like 10 seconds or so, but let's just say that our telecoms companies up here are about as bad as they are on Earth. Hey-oh! Maybe 75% were faked by a USAF disinfo campaign. The rest were okay. All right.
Aliens.
Aliens. I mean, I'm an alien technically. I collabed with an alien today.
Extraterrestrials.
Dani is technically an alien, I think. I don't know.
Am I?
Are you? I don't know.
I survived this long in space without.
I won't spam Bill Sweetman. Yeah, I'll take a look at that later, Coyote. All right, so at like T-minus 5 minutes, I'm gonna send it over to the Streamcast. We'll probably comment every or a little bit. But we're getting down to the wire here. Gosh.
With this humid Florida air. As a point of reference,
We just started loading the second stage with liquid oxygen.
Yep, we are in T-minus 16 seconds and counting. 16 seconds, 16 minutes and counting.
You keep on saying seconds.
I think these this is the one good thing, is that like having 3 people on for this kind of a stream, it keeps you awake. Let's put it that way. I'd already be asleep if it wasn't. Oh, exotic aircraft. Okay.
I've actually been enjoying
this. Sorry, Coyote.
Seen in control rooms from Kennedy Space Center to Houston to Hawthorne are all laser focused on keeping this crew safe from this point and all the way to the space station.
Is it just me, or is the audio desynced from the video of the SpaceX feed?
Right now, from a couple of
possibly. Let me.
There's a very delicate dance between the weather, normally the weather and the operations, and making sure all.
Yeah, that was my problem.
I don't know if I can do that without. Let me see if I can give it a little bit of a gentle push here.
Oh yes. I enjoy comfy chatting as well. I gotta say.
One of those things. It's why we train.
People are very passionate about this program, as am I, and they know the consequences of what they're doing. They know that the crew's lives depend on what they're doing.
That might help out a little bit.
Oh, they're talking about the rescuers right now, aren't they?
On the job, and I think our team knows.
I find it very fascinating that like on every leg of the of the flight path, there's like boats waiting out there just in case.
Yeah,
That's
kind of like how they had
interesting.
kind of like they had crews like in Morón or Zaragoza in Spain for the space shuttle when if they needed to do a TAL abort.
Yep.
Much of the life of the commercial crew program and have worked very closely with the folks on
And they actually have to go out there like maybe a week ahead of time, or maybe longer, to start prepping the system and then activate it. Like the week, if it's a month, they activate, they go out there and do all the checks, and then they activate the week before.
The Rescuers, yeah, good movie. But yeah, so yeah, and the amount of like abort like modes that they have, like they literally have one that's just like abort to space or abort to orbit, which is just using the last
Which
of the
was used
Draco thrusters. Oh, go on.
Yeah, which they used once during STS-51F, which was Challenger's penultimate mission. Yeah, what had happened was that a sensor on one of the turbopumps had two sensor fails and shut down the center engine, and another one was about to fail when one of the prop officers said, this one's starting to look really bad, and they basically said limits to inhibit, basically telling them, okay, we're going to ignore we're going to ignore the sensors for the remainder of the mission. We're just going to keep an eye on everything, and they had to abort to orbit a lower than normal, lower than planned orbit, but still usable orbit. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the very first stream I ever did, that was a test stream. I basically had I did commentary of that particular liftoff.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
I don't actually have a copy of that one because I didn't have the option to save it yet. Okay, so we are at T-minus 12 minutes and 50 seconds on my end, and we are starting to slowly see the condensation build on the second stage as they start filling up the locks into the second. At T-minus 7, they will have engine chill prior to launch. Oh.
And what that does is that what they're doing is they're flowing some liquid oxygen through the turbopumps on all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines to thermally condition them, so then they can take cryogenic propellant without experiencing thermal shock.
System is armed. The crew is strapped in and ready to go. Final instructions of the crew will be coming at T-minus 10 minutes. They'll configure their displays for launch. That'll give them insight into how the launch is proceeding, and it provides constant updates on vehicle health.
I think at T plus 15 minutes, I'm probably going to drop because I'm just beat right now. Plus, I think after T plus...
I hear you.
I think after T plus 15 is...
Yeah. The nose cone opens at 13.
T plus 13, the nose cone does open, correct. I'm going to slip over to... Yeah, it is going to be smoother over there, I'll be quite honest.
Continuing to track that the Falcon 9 and Dragon are looking good for launch, but just in case anything were to happen, Dragon is fully prepared to initiate
and I might actually start calling the want me to call since I pretty much know the sequence of events that goes on during the launch, I may just call those as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Nice.
Okay.
That we're on as well. On first stage, you'll hear abort zones.
Whoop, there goes that again. Come on, come on, come on, come on, catch. I love this.
7.5 to 8 miles in altitude.
Come on.
And the stage 2 will have stage 2A through E. Mostly it will be stage
Come on.
Or stage 2A abort zone, but towards the end of the 6 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reset this real quick.
Start going out from B to E. With E
camera on.
abort to orbit. all of these capabilities enabled on the Dragon spacecraft to make
There we
sure
go, hopefully.
will be delivered safely into orbit.
Okay.
Inside 10 minutes and 30 seconds, we should be hearing.
So now they're waiting on more events to come up. And in the meantime, I'm also waiting for the thing to catch that.
We are at, what, T-minus 10 minutes now? Less than that?
Yep, they just called the readiness for displays.
Dragon, SpaceX, confirmed crew displays are configured for launch.
Displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX copies. Shane, Megan, Aki, Tama. We're thrilled to have crew on board Endeavour once again, and truly honored to have you all at the helm. It's been a pleasure training alongside you ahead of this historic launch. We wish you a great mission, good luck, and enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Chad, Christian, Frank, and all the teams who got our crew and vehicle ready for this mission. I want to say a special thank you to our families and friends. We're incredibly grateful for your support and sacrifice during our training and our upcoming flight. Our crew is flying astronauts from NASA, ESA, and JAXA, which hasn't happened in over 20 years. We're excited to represent our nations, agencies, and all of humanity. Off the Earth, for the Earth, Endeavour is ready to go.
Fist bump.
All right, some celebratory handshakes from inside the Crew Dragon. That was the voice of the Corps, Chad Healy here in Mission Control Hawthorne. Next series of events, John, will be the engine chill. Everything's looking good so far.
Yeah, it is. We're actually watching the fuel trim valves on the Merlin 1D engines, going through some checkouts right now. And as you said, at T-minus 7 minutes, we're going to start a sequence of events that begins with opening the pre-valve. Currently, the liquid oxygen, the kerosene fuel on the Falcon 9 first, second stages is separated from the Merlin engines.
In fact, the last one I saw, I think I actually saw the outlet, the venting of some liquid oxygen while it was still attached to the to the first stage.
On the turbo pumps, and that allows a little bit of that densified ultra cold liquid oxygen to flow.
Here we're at 7.5 minutes.
Chill down the liquid oxygen pump. That way, when we get to T-minus 2 seconds and we spin the pumps up and everything comes to full power, we're not pulling very cold liquid oxygen through a warm pump. So as that cools it down right now, that'll get it ready for that.
Anyway, welcome to the street, Coyote Killer.
Oh, hey, Coyote.
You'll also hear in flight, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes into flight, MVAC chill has begun. That's also a repeat sequence.
I love how the
Thank God for
SpaceX
Inconel. Yep.
team is
begin chilling that engine after stage separation.
It's so routine for them.
Yeah, they're just like, it's just another day on the job. Why not? Let's just get this thing off. We've seen 100,000 of these things launch up. Yeah, this one just happens to have human on them.
It's just a little bit fleshy this time.
And there's the call out. We've got indication pre-valves coming open on the engines. And we have begun to chill in the Merlin engines.
And pretty soon they'll also be opening up the strong back and pulling it back about 2 degrees.
Inside 6 minutes, 40
then
seconds.
at liftoff, it'll pull back another 43.
Damn, very professional. You know all the details.
Yes.
They just finished the liquid oxygen fill.
Well, Katt has done a lot of these.
Oh, RP1, excuse me.
Yep.
Liquid oxygen will continue to flow through the first and second stages up to the final minutes before T0. RP load is complete. All right, confirmation. We have 100% fill of RP1 on both the first and second stages. 6 minutes to go until an instantaneous launch window today.
Looks like they're opening up the
next milestone will
yeah, strong back retract. I think happens at about T-minus 5.
Yep. And like we said, this is an instantaneous launch window. There is no, if they hold, if they say anything like hold, that's it. It's pretty much scrubbed.
It's done for the night.
Yep. The next window is 3 days later,
Another
I think.
visual milestone. The clamps just
Which case I would press, nope, I'm not going to press that button.
2 degrees.
T-5.
Liftoff, back to 45 degrees.
Yep, coming up on 5 minutes.
Again, RP1 kerosene, both on the first and second stages.
Just called for the internal count.
Oxygen continues to flow through on the first and second stages. That very densified, very cold liquid oxygen.
And at T-minus 1 minute, it will go to startup.
Oh, we switched over on my side. There we go.
Okay. Yep. And then at a T-minus 1 minute, the computers on board Falcon will take full control over the vehicle's critical function and the remainder of the countdown.
Okay, next major event coming up is going to be opening the clamp arms around the second stage in preparation for retracting the strongback.
Going to be opening it.
To get ready for liftoff.
Strongback is retracting.
We heard the call out. Strongback is beginning to retract. We're into the automated sequence.
And at T-minus 40 seconds, they will give one more final status check, and of both the launch vehicle as well as the payload. In this case, it's and it'll also come from the crew itself, crew themselves. Does Falcon launch on auto, or does there still need to be a button pressed manually? I think it's all automatic.
Gosh, look at all the steam coming off of that.
Watching the sequence, a nice
yeah, it is just pouring off.
The arms are opening. And we're beginning to recline away from the Falcon 9. We'll move the strongback 2 degrees away from the Falcon 9. That'll get it ready for liftoff. And at T0, when the computer commands liftoff, the hydraulics on the strongback will pull it to a position 45 degrees.
I got to get one of those things from.
Giving it the clearance for launch.
Got to get one of those nominal, some of those nominal things from Tim Dodd's store.
It's great to
I
hear.
wonder, no, they're probably not selling it. I'd love to get like a Rocket Labs.
Should hear that call very soon.
the I don't
lock
ever
load is
wanna
complete.
Oh. We are getting very close to liftoff now.
Yes, we are.
Oh my gosh.
Transition to terminal count is on internal power.
Happening.
Stage 1 lock load is complete.
It's actually probably
Lock
going to
load
happen.
Okay, we've heard the call out. Stage 1 LOX load is complete. We're loading liquid oxygen on the second stage for about another 30 seconds or so. Once we get the liquid oxygen load complete on the second stage, the propellant line that runs up the side of the
T-minus 2 minutes.
that carries liquid oxygen will vent that line down, make sure there's no liquid in it when we get to liftoff. When we do that, we open up valves on the strongback, and as Kate and Marie were talking earlier,
Stage 2 LOX load is
vent off
completed.
that very cold gaseous oxygen, it'll merge with the warm, humid Florida air, and you'll get a large white plume of condensation off of the back of the strongback. That'll be normal, coming about a minute and a half before launch.
And T-minus 90 seconds.
LOX load is complete. Dragon is in auto idle.
All right, with that, the Falcon 9 is fully
Bless you.
fueled. We have
Thank
fuel
you.
on both the first and second stages, and both stages are filled with liquid oxygen.
And we're coming up on T-minus 1 minute, which is when Falcon goes into startup.
Dragon is also in auto idle. The flight computers on Dragon, maintaining their calculations, standing by, waiting for the T0 mark.
There's the startup call, and so is the flight termination system being armed.
The 1 minute mark, Dragon will transition to countdown, and the
T-minus 40 seconds, they'll do another readiness call.
Falcon 9 will be talking to the computers on Dragon and can issue an abort if necessary.
FTS is armed.
There is the call from both the ground and the crew of the Dragon.
All right, 50 seconds.
T-minus 30
Everything
seconds.
is ready for an on-time launch today.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
All right.
Let's do this.
Copy. Go
20
for
seconds.
Ground teams are ready, and the crew inside Dragon is
15
ready.
seconds.
30 seconds to go until launch.
Seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine start. And liftoff of Falcon 9 carrying Crew 2 aboard Endeavour, giving chase to the International Space Station, and the vehicle has cleared the tower. Now it's pitching down range right now to place it above water in the case of an abort scenario.
Mission and liftoff.
Okay, next event coming up at about 50 seconds, where the vehicle will throttle all 9 Merlin 1D engines down to reduce the loads on the vehicle as it passes through the lower levels of the atmosphere.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, look at that beautiful. Look at it go. Oh man.
Okay, we're coming up on going supersonic momentarily. We may be already in max Q.
Ooh, Mach 1.
They just called supersonic. Yeah, indeed. Can't see the shock diamonds from there. Now they're throttling the engines back up to full thrust. There's one of the Bravo. Now they're in the Bravo zone for boat modes. A minute and a half. We got another half a minute or so until they go into staging and ignition of the MVAC engines. They should be chilling the engines before too long if they haven't already.
Oh, I think you can see the thrust diamonds in there.
Yeah. They're a lot more visible once you start getting into the upper parts of the atmosphere where it's not exerting nearly as much pressure around the plume. Yep, the MVAC chill just began. There's the view from the first stage.
More than 1,500 miles an hour.
And coming up real soon is MECO, our main engine cutoff.
Chill started.
All right, the engine chill for the second stage single Merlin engine has started. About 30 more seconds.
They're about to go hypersonic.
Bring our 4 astronauts into orbit.
They got throttle down of the Merlin 1Ds. There's the interior of the MVAC nozzle.
3 major milestones. We'll have shutdown of the 9 Merlin engines. We're beginning to throttle them down. We will then
They just called MECO.
And then we will get ignition of the
They're staging.
Sweet. Let's go.
Yes.
And here we go. Ignition of the MVAC engine, and they continue forward.
Nice.
Yep. Second stage. Let's go.
And there's the first stage on the left, and you see the grid fins are starting to deploy, so then it can maneuver in the atmosphere. Once it's in the atmosphere, they just passed the Kármán line, which is the line to space. And you'll see little plumes coming out of the first stage. Those are cold gas nitrogen thrusters. They are changing the attitude of the vehicle such that it can start to go engine first into the atmosphere.
And on the left side of your screen, we saw the exhaust of the second stage engine streaming past the first stage as the grid fins are coming out. We also
You can actually see the sun shining on the second stage.
Oh wow, I guess you can.
Yes.
Yeah. These went so high.
Up to apogee. It's unpowered. It'll reach a peak height and then begin to descend back down toward the Earth's atmosphere, where it will light 3 engines to slow down in preparation for what will be a landing burn on the drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh.
You can see the grid fins are deployed right now. The first stage.
Oh, wow.
Pulsing.
And as soon as it gets to about halfway down between the Kármán line and the Earth, they will first ignite the center engine, and then the outer 2 engines, numbers 1 and 5, slow the descent down a lot, and then to the point where the atmosphere will actually act as a brake.
4 minutes 15 seconds
Well,
into
the
today's
footage
flight.
for the first stage kind of looks like it's underwater because you can see the little particles.
It does.
That is mesmerizing.
Yeah, it is.
We will be hearing check-ins on the vehicle's trajectory and performance, as well as check-ins with some of the ground stations as it passes over throughout the 6 minutes.
They're still calling nominal trajectory. That's always a good thing to hear.
Dragon SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Getting good views of both the first and second stage.
One of the things I've noticed with the various recent Starlink missions, they've actually brought us first stage telemetry as well. They're not doing it for this one, unfortunately. Yes.
Meanwhile, the first stage.
They were actually simulating it on some of Tim Dodd's streams. Now they actually are furnishing it.
Like actually, like SpaceX is actually giving the telemetry, or is this the third party?
Yeah,
whatever?
SpaceX is actually giving it now.
Oh, wow. What?
Still nominal trajectory on the second stage.
Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, haven't like coders actually like cracked the like the encryption and whatnot, and they've been able to actually see what it says. So I guess it would be pointless for them to try to hide it.
There apparently are even cameras inside the liquid oxygen tank to show how it's depleting.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! You can see the horizon.
Yep. So beautiful.
That is...
Oh my God! I see what you're saying. Oh my God, that is gorgeous.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, dude.
This early morning rocket launch, amazing.
Those cold nitrogen thrusters doing their job, bringing down the first stage.
That'll consist of lighting the center
Oh
engine.
man,
And then
rocket
shortly
launches
afterwards, 2
always
more
gets me a
engines.
bit emotional.
Three-engine
Oh.
burn to slow down the first stage in preparation for entering the Earth's atmosphere.
To think that you could actually reuse like all of those engines, just make sure they're okay, and then just put them back to service. Nama, everything is nominal.
Another check-in, and the crew confirming they're hearing the same thing. The vehicle exceeding, or about to exceed, about 10,000
Looks like it's starting
miles
to get really low now. Pretty soon they're gonna light those engines up for they just did the entry burn.
Yeah.
That'll burn for about 30 seconds to slow the vehicle down to the point where the atmosphere can act as a brake.
Stage 2 FTS is safe.
This is a very dumb idea, but for a second there.
We've got the center engine ignition, and there come the 2 side engines. Now this
Okay, the engines have shut down.
29 seconds. It's gonna
Right.
I was wondering what it would be like if you strapped a piece of steak on a grid fin. Oh, you can see the clouds.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, yeah, because it's almost dawn there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is just beautiful.
Oh wow, yeah. This is just so perfect of a launch. If you want the best views, man, that like just before dawn is where it's at.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
And it's about a minute and a half between the time they do the entry burn and the time by the time they actually start to land and get ready to land. Okay, they have Seco waiting on a downlink again from the first stage. They just disabled the LES.
Oh, probably switching ground stations for the first stage. Or getting ready for drone for Of Course I Still Love You.
There goes the landing burn.
Yep, here we go.
There's Of Course I Still Love You's feed.
Dragon SpaceX nominal orbit insertion.
And it is
landed.
touchdown on Of Course I Still Love You.
Yes.
They're on the right
there we
stage.
go.
Right hand side. They're
Oh,
about to let go of the second stage on the right hand side.
My God. That was basically a bullseye.
Man, that's good.
It's kind of funny how all of our attention was on the first stage when the actual people were on the second stage.
Well, it's great to see it, see it, watching it land and whatnot. It's crazy that they can get it there. Also, I love you guys know why the feed always cuts out, right?
Cuts out.
Well,
yeah, because sometimes they're going into the tank.
Yeah, and I guess also I've heard that they try to do a link with like a ship nearby that like it's like point to point antenna. It's a point to point antenna for the best streaming. And what happens is when the booster gets close and whatnot, it's vibrating. Of Course I Still Love You so much that it's just knocking the antenna, off kilter, so it can't get the full stream down link.
Yeah, that's a bummer because it was kind of funny. And there's a view from the third stage into the trunk, and the view of the aft of the first stage. The third stage, the second stage rather. Damn, I keep forgetting. Falcon's only 2 stages.
We're so tired. That's what it is.
Yes. It's been fun, let me tell you. This is
it's
this
been
is
a
probably
blast.
the most fun I've ever had. Yes, it has. They just called separation, I think.
Again, the 4-person crew of Endeavor is in
It's imminent though, I think. There's the interior of the trunk.
Less than 30 seconds until we have spacecraft.
It's amazing to think about the G's that these
guys faced while I think it's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I forgot how much they face on liftoff. I think maybe 3 to 6 G's was it? I know in
there it
recent
goes.
history.
They just separated.
Yee!
Oh, and that's a beautiful view.
Gosh,
Oh yes, it is.
That camera is high quality.
So I forgot if it was 10 Gs, but I think the highest Gs in recently was experienced by MS-10 when they had to abort. Like 10, or it was some high number.
Yay, Kessler syndrome.
Yeah. Well, no, that trunk burns up pretty quick. Oh, look at that! Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is.
All right. Oh wait, no, we need to wait.
And
as
I was saying earlier, it was kind of funny. We actually were able to see it from the rocket better than we could see it from the drone ship. Oh, the irony. That was on Starlink 23.
All right, so nose cone is going to open so that the dragon's eye can do its thing.
I think they're dangling the mascot.
Wait, what's the orbital? What's the orbital device? What
What's
mascot?
the orbital inclination?
No, there it is. The 0G indicator device.
Oh, the 0G.
What is it?
0G indicator. Where is it?
I think
it's floating. Is it a penguin? Is it a penguin?
Yeah.
It's a penguin.
There it is. There it is. Oh my God.
Liftoff. The crew is in orbit, traveling at nearly 17,000 miles an hour.
Why is it a penguin? It almost looks kind of like the Linux penguin, which wouldn't surprise me because
it does.
Hey, the dragon runs off of Linux actually.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, actually, no. I think during demo, was it demo 2 that they said that it was? And I'm just like thinking, can they just update the software on the fly? I just imagine they just like take it and they go, they just send like an SSH. I don't know Linux speak anymore. They just sent commands up to it. Okay, cool. We updated the firmware. We're good now, guys. Let's go.
You can now stream 1080p YouTube from your Dragon capsule.
Yes.
Checkouts of the 12 service section Dracos around Dragon. Next,
Hey, I mean, you can send video, or you can upload to YouTube from the International Space Station. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And in 1080p. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a night for now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gone.
Oh, no worries.
No worries.
And so in any event, thank you guys so much for doing this, and thank you Puzzle Plate for inviting me to do this as a collab.
Yes, and thank you guys for coming along as well. I do apologize to my chat for the PowerPoint presentation levels of frame rate there. I will have it fixed, and like I said, I'll make sure to hit the bell subscribe, hit the bell icon, and just to keep just for a heads up of if I do the docking stream, I might do that. So, and if you guys want to come along, go for it.
Yeah.
And I will link you guys' I'll link you guys' channel on my Twitter, and make sure that they do the same. So in any event, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my the main screen here on my side and basically get ready to raid someone.
All right, and I will close out for now. So I'll see you guys next time.
Alrighty.
Meanwhile, we're still getting camera views from the second stage, looking at that expansion nozzle. Did its work beautifully to deliver the 4 crew into.